ton of misinformation because an incompletion, how it is incomplete, counts against completion percentage. Like, that was an actual debate we had on the show. He was like, no, dude. Like, if a quarterback throws it away, it doesn't count.
And then he Googled it for 2 hours.
He didn't speak the rest of the segment. And then he would just intersperse, well, I mean, it's not completely true.
Not helping. Well, let's hope a breakdown of the weekend series versus the Mets out in the Big Apple helps. Now, here are the guys.
Big Red, Stevie, and Fletch, happy Monday to those who celebrate. Happy Monday to you all.
Did you not listen to the Open before you played the Open?
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
That doesn't shock us.
Yeah, cool.
Show producer Ben Fletcher on top of everything.
Hey,
it's QBR.
Together.
QBR that it doesn't count against. I do apologize for my first take.
Completion percentage. You're still on this.
Are we still talking about this?
It doesn't count against the QB quarterback rating.
Right.
Got it.
Just like I said.
So how was your guys' weekend?
Fantastic. Yours? You're back.
Oh,
baby.
it was great.
You partied. We saw some photographs.
Oh, yeah.
You're laying by the pool.
You had your ice on your leg, I'm sure, grabbed from a cooler with some ice cold Busch Light in it or Bud Light.
Yeah.
Whatever you were enjoying.
It was all plenty this weekend. We were up in Santa Rosa.
Oh, you were devastated.
Yeah.
That's
right. Yeah, you got to almost stuck in Santa Rosa, but you made it back.
Mm-hmm.
You made it back. And we're damn glad to have you. We had to suffer through Jay Riff
shirtless
on Friday. Yeah,
shirtless.
Goodness gracious.
Who flexed a lot.
He did flex a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was in here, producer for the Darren Smith Show. And he actually, that little clip you just heard was a part of a bigger riff from Jay Riff about how, gosh, he was like, God, I'm so much better at this than Fletch. And we're like, whoa. And that all came from a false sense of bravado he felt from Friday. And he did the math for us, not us. Friday was the anniversary of his win at the Hardwood and Balls Classic, where he and you played one-on-one basketball, and he beat you in 2 games, and it was pretty sound beating. And I mean, legitimately, because we had bet him to, he took his shirt off through the final hour of the show and acted coy at first, like kind of like, ooh, I'm shy. I don't know if this is really what I should be doing. And by the end of the 8 o'clock hour, was literally doing double bicep Hulk Hogan poses into the camera.
You notice he kept dusting off his shoulders and his abs. He kept doing this.
Oh yeah.
What are you dusting off, buddy?
I don't.
So things went well.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah, he had a good time. We definitely had a good time, both in enjoying making fun of him and also making fun of you.
Right. Did you?
Nothing changed.
Did you take care of Keither on Father's Day?
Yeah, I only saw him for like a couple hours.
Father's Day,
but it was like a Father's Day weekend. Like Keith had a lot of fun this weekend too.
Nice,
very nice. Very good.
We got after it, man.
Yeah. Father's Day recaps, and I want to hear about this wedding that Fletch emceed this weekend. We'll get to all that. There was a hard foul where it feels still like we're just seeing people capitalize off the growth of a sport that really have nothing to do with the storyline, but they want to push their way into the spotlight. We'll get to that in the WNBA. We also have the NBA Finals. Maybe it wraps up tonight in Boston. We'll see. But first, we got to talk about the San Diego Padres.
What? Yeah. They are here in San Diego, and they are Padres.
They are, and on all weekends, you would figure the Padres would go out there. And they would represent all of the dads,
right,
and show up in a big way.
Especially because they gave him a gimme. It was almost that homecoming game where they toss in the team that's not very good. Yeah, the Mets. Yeah, the Mets, who have been a complete dumpster fire. Now their record is what, 1 game difference than the.
They're right now 37-38.
33-37.
The Padres are 37-38. So like I said. And they are.
He was talking about the Mets record. Sorry,
right.
The Mets only have 1 more loss than the Padres now.
It is exactly what I was waiting for. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not what I was hoping for. I mean, I said this right before they left for this trip. I was like, they go on to New York, and guess what? The other shoe will drop, because that's what the Padres have taught us throughout the course of this season. And unfortunately, again, that prophecy was proven true. This team is showing you at every turn who they are. They're a 500 team. And look, it can be frustrating at times, but this is who they are right now. It doesn't mean this will last the whole season. I mean, it could swing for the worse or it could swing for the better. Obviously, we all hope for the better. And we hope that swing occurs sometime soon, or at very least before they enter the postseason, so they have a little momentum. But look, on paper, their statistics tell you they're probably better than a 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at run differential, if you look at batting average, if you look at some of like the tangible statistics that usually prove out over the course of a 162 game season what a team's worth. And so the Padres are trending in the right direction, but they cannot cobble together enough wins to sustain life above 500. They just can't do it.
And they have these games like Friday and Saturday where this offense scores one run.
Yeah.
You have a handful of hits and one run. It's awful, which, man, I feel right now, and this is maybe the second or third time they've been a couple games below 500, and they go in to play a good team. So now they're playing the Phillies. They've done well against good teams this season. Maybe it happens again, but you have this fear of if they were to drop, if they get swept again by the Phillies, and now all of a sudden they're 5 below 500, you fall into this feeling of, oh man, this is about the time when you start hearing the Padre players, oh, they're injured. They're going to have to start sitting, because once you're not winning, all of a sudden that the whatever injury you have starts to hurt a little more.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we had the conversation about not getting too high on the Padres because the other shoe is coming. And Rich, you were talking about how nothing would surprise you, right? Going in after a couple of good games with the Padres, you feel like they're back. Fernando Tatis Jr. is on this hitting streak. He looks like a Fernando of old again. And they sweep the A's, and that was awesome. They had a couple games where they were putting up 10, 13 runs against the Diamondbacks, and that was awesome. And you feel like things are going really well. And then you go see the Mets, who are one of the worst teams in baseball and have been for 2 years, and you get your ass kicked for 3 straight days. And none of them were competitive. The Padres never really felt like they were in it, maybe for a couple innings yesterday. But it's just really unfortunate that you see this team that you feel like has the potential to do something special, and you feel like they have for 2-3 years now, and special just doesn't come. And it just is this constant up and down motion that we've been talking about. And you could replay the show from 2 weeks ago and it would still be relevant today.
Yeah.
Like the same conversation could be had about the Padres this weekend. And at a certain point, Padres fans, it's just, you're kicking a door with a toothpick stuck underneath your big toe.
It's painful, I think, is what you're trying to describe. And there's no question about it. But again, trying to focus on the positives. There's a lot you can say about the Padres in a positive light. Regardless of some pretty significant injuries so far this season, they found a way through it all and kept their head above water. Because when you lose supposedly your 1 and 2 men in your rotation in Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove, and you have a rotation where you discovered, by the way, this season that Matt Waldron can pitch at the major league level. That was unknown to anybody around Major League Baseball until this year as a starting dependable rotation arm.
You got Patrick Mahomes tweeting about Matt Waldron now.
I mean, it's nuts. And so that's again, credit where credit's due. AJ Preller got it right. You look at Dylan Cease. If they don't make that trade, I mean, this is a real hairy situation in terms of their starting pitching staff. So they knew where they had, and don't get me wrong, he hasn't been great this season. He's been great in moments during this season, but he's been an innings eater at very worst, or at very best. At very worst, he's been a liability at times when he has blow up moments. But you get what I'm saying? Like the offense, the trade for Luis Ariz, that was a great idea. The Jerks and Profar edition late in the offseason, that was a great idea. Some of these bats, a youngster like Jackson Merrill, who's been a little streaky, but he's back hot again. That was a great idea, getting him on board on the major league roster. This team has some real bright spots. The problem is this team shines in moments and then they completely, they fail to reach the moment in other times. And it's just It's just the story of the season.
Yeah, and some of the storylines, some of the Cinderella storylines, like Dylan Cease, who came out and started pretty hot, and you went, "Hey, this may work," but you had this feeling of it could fall apart anytime. Right now, because it's been so shaky, it feels like, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this is going to fall apart, but you don't want it to. Crossing your fingers that something gets right here. It's just hard. It's hard to be on the up when you finally get a sweep. You're finally rolling, thinking, okay, here we go. Maybe this is a turning point. They're playing the Mets. They're terrible. You get swept by the Mets. Everything you just did is erased.
Right after you get your first sweep of the season against the A's. Last year, and I really hate comparing this team to last year's team because I feel like we have enough of a sample size now this year where we could just talk about this year's team. But last year at the end of the season, it was kind of all about the conversation of, well, if they were a little bit better against the Rockies, if they were a little bit better against the Diamondbacks, and they just won a couple of those games that they should have won, but they lost against the lesser teams in Major League Baseball, then the Padres could have maybe taken the Diamondbacks' place and got on a little bit of a run in the postseason. Well, I'm sure the conversation will not come up at the end of this year about the fact that the Padres have been swept by the Angels, who are second to last place in the AL West, swept by the Mets, second to last place in the NL East, swept by the Rockies, who are in last place in the NL West. Those three teams have a combined 98 and 126 record. Like, you fast forward to the end of this year, it's hard to think that these three series, if the Padres are just a couple of games out, won't be part of the conversation.
Well, they will be, and or other tight losses. Look, when you play 162, you can focus in on any bad stretch. The problem for the Padres is there have been bad stretches, but they've all been met with equally good stretches. That's the reason why the record is what it is. They continue to hover around 500. Look, this is a different season from last year, and this is a much better season. I'll tell you why. The Padres had to fight their asses off to get into the playoff picture late in the year last year. That doesn't appear to be the case this year.
National League sucks.
The Padres, yeah, they're hovering. And by the way, the National League wasn't like amazing last year either, but the Padres were just record-wise a much worse team because they're having a statistically impossible season. All of their good players were playing poorly. Now, their poor players, or I should say their role players, weren't playing all that well either. The star players so far this season, or I should say for the majority of this season, haven't really played all that well, but all the role players have. And so those are sort of the statistical things you're used to seeing with baseball teams, that it was almost like Murphy's Law last year. Compared last year to this year, everything that could go wrong last year did go wrong, and for the entire season. This year, that's not the case.
Jerks and Profar, baby.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I mean, at times, at times. And now, coming through the month of June, Fernando Tatis getting hot and Jackson Merrill back on it. Like, so there are some hitters in this lineup actually doing some damage, and that's good. And there have been throughout the course of the season. But holy cow, last year, if you remember, it was getting pretty desperate for them to even be in the playoff conversation. And they made a late run that made it at very least interesting and put their record finally over 500. But there was a point in the fall where we were hearkening back to May was the last time they were over 500.
May 13th, I think, was the date.
Have you locked it in your brain?
Yeah, well, because we said it 100 times. I mean, it was that long before it got to the end of the season.
So this is a very different season. There are a lot of positives here in the negatives, but coming out of weekend like that, it is hard to remember them because this team just keeps beating you right back down to where you belong. As soon as you have a little hope, a little pride, a little, hey, maybe this is the quote unquote turning point. How many times have I heard that on San Diego sports talk, radio, media? The turning point. Stop saying the word turning point.
And now they're going on a stretch, man. They got some tough teams coming up, which this season would lead you to believe that they're going to do pretty well against. The Phillies are first place team. The Brewers are near the top of their division. Nationals near the top of theirs.
Yeah,
like they're going on a stretch now where you got 3 series in a row against some really, really good teams.
Okay, let's say they win both of those series, right? Mm-hmm. They go 2-1 on both series. What's that? That puts them at 500.
That's right.
Yeah. I understand. Like if they do great here, we're back at 500.
Well, see,
I think you can book it.
And that is the and guess what? And that's just fine as long as they continue that momentum. But you know what will happen. You just know it. You can feel it in your bones. They'll face the Phillies and they'll have some success. or they won't. And then they'll face the Brewers. And at that point, if they don't have success against the Phillies, they'll definitely have success against the Brewers, because that's what this team does. As soon as it swings too far one direction, they'll correct it, or they'll unravel like we've seen. But either way, they'll hover around 500 until hopefully they turn on the afterburners.
Well, the Padres got swept by the Mets, losing 3 straight over the weekend. Today, they're in Philly, taking on the first place team in the NL East. Bryson DeChambeau. Yesterday was some drama on the golf course. It was awesome. He outlasted the field of Pinehurst #2, winning the U.S. Open by 1 stroke over Rory McIlroy, who basically handed it to him on a silver platter. 2 missed putts within 4 feet on 16 and 18 for Rory McIlroy. Just a brutal way to finish. Bryson DeChambeau, second-time U.S. Open winner. And Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Celtics leading 3-1. Mavericks desperate for a win. And guys, we're playing some golf on Friday. So we have a little surprise on the show today, and we could set that up. But do we congratulate our winner for the foursome?
Let's do that in a couple moments here before we tee up what's next.
That's it. That's
okay. Oh, that was it. Okay,
that's the end of that. Okay,
yeah, that's all I got.
Very good, very good. So we'll tell you exactly what's going on with Jesse Lozano's One More Win tournament in just a moment here. And we have a question for everybody out there, because, look, we're going to be knocking off a little rust on the course. We'll get to that. But before we do, a belated Happy Father's Day to everybody out there who listened to this show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had at least a morning or part of the day where you weren't checking items off the honeydew list and everybody was just crowded around Papa.
Yeah.
And they were giving him hugs and love and all those things.
We're so happy to have you.
With your dad, do you just give him a call? Do you send him a gift package? How does it work in the Dale
I sent him
household?
a couple items, Amazon style, and they showed up at his doorstep. And then, we called, we FaceTimed for about an hour and chatted and laughed. Yeah, it was a good time.
And you were with Keith.
Yeah, that was the first Father's Day in maybe a decade that all 3 kids were with my dad, and that's all he could have possibly wanted. And all the grandkids were there. So
it's cool.
Stevie, we love you. You killed your wedding toast.
That's awesome.
And it was really special.
So a wedding this weekend that you also emceed.
Oh yeah.
How many of Keither's Mai Tais did you put down before the wedding master of ceremonies gig?
I kept it together for the MC in part, and then all hell broke loose during the dance floor, which it always does, and we had a great time.
When you got to the dance floor, did the shirt ever come off?
It did.
And was it over or under? What was the line set? 12 and a half minutes?
It was over that.
He gave you finger guns when he said that.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, Alex came up to me at a certain point of the night, and that song "Heads Will Roll," it's kind of a techno beat. That came on, and he said, "It's time." And so then, I went out to the dance floor, popped the top, tied the tie around the head. It was great.
Wow.
The bride came up to me and said, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, don't act like you don't love it."
And she couldn't act like she loved it.
No, she had a big smile on her face.
Well,
I'm sure she'll love it when she looks back at the photos.
One of my uncles was videoing the whole time, and now that video is somewhere. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, we need to get our hands on that. So, Uncle Fletch, if you're listening, we need that video ASAP, as soon as possible.
Man, I got taken care of on Father's Day.
Really?
So we went out. We had Mexican food. It was delicious. I got some new headphones, cans, they call them here in the biz.
Oh, is that? Yeah. Oh, these are the new boys?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm just new goofing.
So who bought those? What? You or somebody in the family?
Sarah bought them for me.
Okay. Yeah, she knew that you love the AKGs.
Well, I guess I had put them in the Amazon cart at some point. I don't know when. Honestly, I have no idea. And then the kids got me a new bug assault gun, which is the CO2 pistol.
Now that's fantastic.
It's pretty awesome.
That's absolutely fantastic. So this, if for anybody uninitiated, I don't own one, but I'm staring at something that I really want now. It's a gun that fires table salt at flies. And then, look, table salt, safe for pets. It's safe in the household. And you just sweep it up along with a dead fly that you just massacre.
So I have the bug assault rifle, which you pour in table salt and it's like spring loaded. This one, you put a CO2 canister in.
Sweet Jesus. So you get rapid fire.
Yeah. It's sweet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome also for like shooting your son.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of warnings on it to not point it at people, but so I'll point it at myself first and see what it feels like.
I would say test it on Caleb.
Okay.
Yeah. Just give him a running start.
It's cool. I was gonna bring it in, and then I thought people may be weirded out if I bring in a pistol, even though it's yellow and orange.
We have one of those at one of my uncle's houseboats, and I don't think it's ever been used to shoot at flies.
Well, really?
But it frequently gets used to shoot at other people.
This one's supposed to be for big game. It takes down scorpions and centipedes.
Oh my god! Yeah, something with
Pretty
a little bit of
cool
exoskeleton.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
On Father's Day, called my pops. We were in the car ride to a dinner where we were celebrating with a bunch of other dads. Annie's got some family members visiting from Hawaii, so it was great catching up with them. And then same thing. The kids came in with breakfast in bed on Sunday morning. My 8-year-old Ty made a sculpture out of a stick of butter of me. That was his contribution to dinner. And
how close was it? What was the resemblance?
Dude, I mean, as close as you could get with a partially melted stick of butter and toothpicks. It was incredible. So that happened. I used it to butter my toast.
Good.
And so thanks to the kids. And then they gave me a sweatshirt and a lot of hugs. It was a fun morning. But it's going to be even more fun in just a few days. The One More Win golf tournament brought to you by Jesse Lozano over there on Star 94.1. Our threesome is going to be joined by their producer, Shelly Brown. We'll have a foursome going around the golf course.
It's weird how Shelly came over and said, "Hey, I'm golfing with you guys," and not them.
Right.
Yeah, she knows where the fun's at.
She knows where the fun's at.
That's correct. Yeah, she walked over to this studio and she knows where the fun's at.
We got a fivesome though.
We do.
Yeah, Tony Conja is also going to be joining our team.
Tony jumps in, but by the way, that's an important factor to bring up right now because we need to announce a winner and then we need to announce something else. So without further ado, do we want to do a drum roll? Do we want to make this official, Fletch? We're going to lock in the winner of the One More Win. Up there.
We had 5 entries. It was a random draw. That winner is
Eric.
Right on.
Eric S. out in Coronado. Congrats, Eric. I already talked with him yesterday, actually, for a little bit, and he's in. He's excited. He's got his foursome ready to go. So I can't wait to meet him, meet his friends, and party on.
Yep.
Sweet.
As we mentioned, we were going to pick one of the 5 OG's gift card winners from last week to be the lucky participant for the foursome at the One More Win golf tournament. However, because Tony Conja is jumping in with myself and TD here and Fletch and Shelly Brown, that opens up a whole nother foursome for a group to be joined, for us to be joined by another group out there on the course. So we're going to give this away today. If you want to golf with us on Friday, keep listening to this show because some point during the 8 o'clock hour, we are going to give away a foursome and you will be able to join us at the Jesse Lozano golf tournament. What do you got? You're getting
No, I'm just laughing. I was laughing at our text string. I missed a couple messages. So I was looking to the future of what our next segment was. And then I was reading some messages and just giggling.
Speaking of which, on the text chain this morning, one idea popped up and it was from Fletch and it was a great one. They're like, hey, we should have Jonas Knox on the show. And I was like, why? What's going on? What do you do? I assumed there was like trouble. I'm like, is trouble a brewing? And he goes, no. He just said the
Tell us, boy.
Smartest. Yeah. Lassie, what's that? Old man McGregor is back in the well? Old man McGregor.
He's caught in the creek.
You say his leg's broken? There were acorns? Oh my God.
Speaking of, how did the leg hold up on the dance floor?
Oh yeah.
Better than I thought it would.
Okay.
Like it might have been the booze, but I felt great.
So you need to booze it up before the golf tournament.
Yeah, which I think we have no problem doing.
That's going to be no problem. We're going to take good care of you. We made a couple of plans with Tony ahead of this golf tournament because he was here on Friday. We've got some plans for you.
Yeah, I do have a 7-hour car ride immediately after the golf tournament.
You will be asleep.
Yeah, you're going to sober up during that car ride because you will not be sober for the start of it. Jonas Knox joining us, Fox Sports Radio. He has some thoughts on Caitlin Clark that need to be brought to this audience's attention here in just a moment, but also something else that needs to be brought to this audience's attention.
Prize picks.
You're damn right. And Fletch, look, he'll eat some crow. We'll give him a hard time every once in a while, but when he's right, he's right. And my gosh, he was right about Prize Picks. This is one of the best apps I've ever downloaded to my phone. I'm having more fun with Prize Picks than I ever expected to. Every single night, I'm looking to see what promotions they got running, or I'm just looking to see what sort of statistical categories I can place a lineup on just to make the watch a little bit more interesting. I'm going to be firing off on the NBA Finals tonight. I'm going to be looking for the stars, which gives me a little bit more of a multiplier on the lineups. The amount of money you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks.
Prize Picks is the best. It is the number one daily fantasy sports app on the continent. That is all of North America. And this past weekend was a ton of fun on the US Open because you just less than birdies because everyone was going less than birdies. It was a ton of fun. I love the Prize Picks app. You can love it too. Just download it. Use promo code DOGS. You're going to get a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code DOGS, DOGS, on Prize Picks for a first deposit match up to $100. And you can set your first lineup within about 60 seconds. It's that easy. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy. Jonas Knox coming up next. 2 Pros and a Cup of Joe.
Keep up with San Diego Sports 760 anytime, anywhere. Whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home, just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeart Radio app. It's never been easier to stay connected to your favorite shows like this one right here, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go.
This update is presented by the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency. 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Jonas Knox coming up in just a second. Padres get swept by the Mets, losing 3 straight over the weekend. Today they're in Philly, taking on the first-place team in the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryson DeChambeau outlasts the field at Pinehurst, number 2, winning the U.S. Open by 1 stroke over Rory McIlroy, who missed 2 putts within 4 feet on 16 and 18, giving away the tournament. And Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Celtics lead 3-1. LGBTQ plus youth who face family rejection may become homeless or enter the foster care system. Individuals, couples, or families can become a foster family. These youth need your nurturing and support. Can you open your heart and home? Details at SDCares, 4 kids.com.
Fletcher's the rundown updated here with these giveaways. These are legit. Ticket Palooza damn near continues here on Big Rich TD and Fletcher. Still got a couple giveaways today. A pair of tickets to go see the Doobie Brothers at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. That's happening June 25th. Deets and seats at Ticketmaster.com. And we got a 4-pack of tickets, a chance for those, for the 2024 San Diego County Fair going on now through July 7th at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Let's look back. Let's have some fun together and go retro. For tickets and info, go to sdfair.com or just keep listening for your chance to win. We got Jonas on. Right on. You hear him every morning here before this show. It is arguably the best show on radio. I mean, it's between us and ours. Yeah, I was gonna say between us and them. 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Jonas Knox joining us. Jonas, how are you, man?
Good. How are you guys? How's everything?
Oh, holding up. We're doing fine. We could use another day here. A 3-day weekend would be nice.
Now, Jonas, was this your first Father's Day as a dad?
No, my third, but it felt like this one was made to be a bigger deal than it was. I just never. I mean, we celebrated it, obviously growing up with my dad, but it wasn't like this big. I mean, it was because social media. You almost get guilted in. I felt bad for my wife. I think she almost got guilted into having to post something because she saw everybody else post about their husbands or their dads or whatnot. And so this one felt like it was made to be a bigger deal, but it's my third.
Well, we celebrate you, man. Happy Father's Day.
Well, listen, I appreciate it. And happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Post-Father's Day. Milk it for all you can. We don't get a lot of these.
You're right. Exactly. Jonas, Fletch said, hey, did you hear Jonas talking about the WNBA? It sounds a lot like us. Now, here's the deal. When we turn on ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever, we are told that we are supposed to love the WNBA. Look, I'm all about Caitlin Clark. I'm happy that she's out there rocking and rolling. I love that there's more eyeballs on the sport. But when I watch, I'm just not that into it. Should I be feeling bad here? Should I be am I a bad person for not wanting to be all in?
No, it sucks. I mean, listen, I don't know. People get upset about that, and we're making the point. It's too forced. They're just forcing it upon us. And look, it's not saying Caitlin Clark's not going to be a great player or isn't already a great player or Angel Reese or any of this, but it's so over the top. And I hope everybody prospers because of it. I hope they make a ton of money. I hope they get their new TV rights deal is a blockbuster. I'm happy for all of them. I'm just not into it. And you're kind of, if you say that, people get upset about it. It's there's certain things in sports that I'm into that people aren't into. And I was making a point, I love the UFC. I love boxing. Both had events this weekend. If you don't talk about it, I'm not upset. If somebody's not into it, I'm not upset about it. It is what it is. Everybody's got preferences, but you're right. You're almost, you have to like it or else. It's you've got to follow in line and follow the line and toe the company line or else. And we're just being honest. Look, we're not into it. It's not our thing. There's too many other stuff. You had the US Open yesterday. You've got baseball, NFL stories. The NBA finals are going on. And yet this WNBA coverage, if you don't have the same opinion or an opinion like everybody else does, then you fall back. And I don't get it. It's weird.
Yeah, I completely agree. Everything you just said there, it feels like we're being given a purity test every time you mention the letters WNBA. oh, well, do you watch? It's like, well, I watched a couple games or parts of a couple of games that Caitlin Clark was in. Oh, well, then you can't have an opinion. Well, no, see, that's not true. I can have an opinion about anything I want to have an opinion about, whether I'm informed on it or not. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think where you, me, TD here, Fletch, we're all absorbing this story the way the majority of Americans are, which is to say, if you look at their ratings, they're better. Caitlin Clark has given this league a significant bump. They're better than they were, but they're not touching any of these other mainstream sports. So the mainstream, meaning the majority of people, are gravitating towards some of the other sports you just mentioned. And the WNBA very much so is an afterthought, unless something takes place and goes viral on Twitter, like many of the instances recently against Caitlin Clark when she's playing against the Chicago Sky. By the way, Caitlin Clark playing for the Indiana Fever, Angel Reese playing for the Chicago Sky. The fact that they're now participating in the WNBA is the only reason why I even know the names of those two teams. That's how little I knew about the WNBA before this. So I don't want to have to take a purity test. I just want to enjoy the sport the way I want to enjoy it, just like anything in life. Nobody's going to tell me that I have to like Neapolitan ice cream if I'm a vanilla ice cream fan. Like, I can like whatever flavor I like.
And it's been hijacked by and then of course you know where this stuff goes. Then it turns into a racial thing. And I even joke with LeVar. I was like, LeVar, let's just throw everybody for a loop. Well, you be Team Caitlin, I'll be Team Angel, and let's play that game. If we're gonna play this game, or it's about gender, and you respect, dude. Does anybody know who Valentina Shevchenko is? She is a UFC fighter. All right, she's one of my favorite fighters on the planet. She's a woman. She's got a handgun tattooed on her waist. I'm not making that up. You can look it up. Valentina Shevchenko. This is not about gender. This is not about anything else. It's about whether or not you like something. And if you're honest about it, like we are, and say, I don't like it, somehow that's like there's a problem with that. And that's the part I don't understand. I really don't get it. I don't know where it got to this point.
It's here. I mean, the WNBA is everywhere you look, and it's gotten me to watch a couple games, and I'm not a fan either. But you know what? I'm glad that it's happening, I guess, for the people who are. The NFL is coming up 80-something days away, 79 days away. Can't remember exactly what it was. But, Jonas, we got a ton of new faces coming into the league this year, and they're all under center. A lot of them playing quarterback. Who are you most excited to see out of this rookie class of quarterbacks coming in? Can anyone have the CJ Stroud of last season, just breakthrough performance?
I mean, the easy one is Caleb Williams. Like, just because there's so much that goes with that. And, like, you know, all the history, Bears quarterbacks in Chicago, like their inability to find a franchise guy. They thought they had it with Jay Cutler, and then, you know, there was a coaching change and all the other things that came along with it. And I think it's Caleb Williams, and the way that they've built around him, like that they've actually made a concerted effort. Hey, listen, we're going to go out and we're going to get Keenan Allen. We've already got DJ Moore. We're going to get Everett to pair with Cole Kmet at tight end. We went out and got DeAndre Swift. We drafted Roma Dunze. That's the one I want to see, because if he struggles or if it's not working, it's not because of the lack of talent around him. Like, you can argue that with Bryce Young. Bryce Young with the Carolina Panthers might be the worst organization in sports. I wonder if Matt Rule and Frank Reich like have some sort of like conversation from time to time and go, God, thank Christ we got out of there. Like, I mean, and we got paid. It's a disaster. And you look at it and you go, man, Adam Thielen had a monster year because they had nobody else to throw to. When it comes to Caleb Williams, he's got a ton of weapons around him, and I'm curious to see if that speeds up his development, because I think we're going to find out pretty early on whether or not he's the goods.
Jonas, you're the goods. We appreciate your time every single time. Thanks for jumping on short notice. Loved what you had to say this morning. Needed to hear it again, and we'll do it again real soon, buddy.
Absolutely. If you guys ever need a WNBA insider, just let me know. I'll get Lamar on the line for you.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it covered.
One of these days, we're just going to grab you and LeVar, and we're going to pantomime that battle right here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Thank you, buddy.
Done.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Done deal right there. Also, done deal. Eric won our first foursome to the One More Win golf tournament coming up on Friday. We have a whole nother foursome to give away today. No qualifying. All you got to do is listen. And you got to listen, especially in the 8 o'clock hour. That's when that foursome is going to be given away for, again, Jesse Lozano's tournament going to take place up there in San Marcos. One More Win supporting great causes, student athletes around San Diego.
We'll be broadcasting live from 6 to 9. 9 o'clock, we tee off. You're going to tee off right behind us. Yeah. So we'll be in a big, giant group having a big, giant party.
Speaking of golf, we got to pop some champagne. I'll take a lap, which is fun.
What? Are you kidding me?
I mean,
that was gold.
That was gold. Who wrote it on the rundown?
That would be Big Rich, former NFL player.
When I saw it on the rundown,
yeah, go ahead.
I would not have guessed it was you, Rich.
Wow,
because it's really bad.
Listen. I don't know if you saw one of the posts we did over the weekend for Father's Day.
Oh man!
But Rich's dad jokes were top tier.
Guys, I'm like Taylor. I'm leaning into my dad era.
I feel bad. I did not understand the polar bear one.
What are you talking about?
I'll explain it to you.
What are you talking about?
It's a dirty joke. You can tell none. You kick him right in the ice hole. You get it?
You get it?
Yeah, but the setup to the joke, I don't know. Whatever.
When he stops to take a pee,
yeah,
you kick him.
No, I get
in the ice hole. He falls
Here's
in.
the thing. I didn't not get the joke. The joke wasn't funny. That's what it was.
Yes. You're welcome.
Wow.
You're welcome.
You know what wasn't funny?
What's that?
How fat we were.
Oh my God.
God.
Oh,
and good God.
Tremendously disgustingly fat.
Right. Listen.
We were surrounded by our own disgusting fat cells. They were taking over by hoarding our clogging arteries. Weighing us down.
Yeah, it was so much fat and low self-esteem. That's what we almost called the show that. But
it's a beefy title.
That's right. Thanks to Wayne and Chloe over at SD Fat Loss. They stepped in and said, hey, we can show you how to lose weight. You're going to lose weight fast. And I'll be honest with you, I've never lost weight so quickly. I've never felt better so quickly. And it's because every time you're stepping on the scale, the pounds are dropping off.
And Travis, you're a DIYer.
Yeah, right.
And in this case, you did not do it yourself.
No, I did not do it myself. I needed SD Fat Loss. I needed Wayne and Chloe to show me how to do this thing the right way, the healthy way. And then what I really needed, because I've done some of these fad diets where I've lost weight, and then as soon as I stopped the fad diet, I gained the weight right back and then some. I needed someone to show me the correct way to keep that weight off. And that's what they did over at SD Fat Loss. And that's what they'll do for you. Go to sdfatloss.com right now. They're going to set you up with a free consultation. You'll sit down with Wayne and Chloe, the coaches, the staff over there. They will set up a tailor-made plan for you to make sure that you lose the most weight possible in the least amount of time possible. So you're just going to follow along for 8 weeks. I promise you're going to feel a whole lot better. When you head out to the beach this summer, you're going to look so much better. Everything's going to be better. Life is so much better with sdfatloss.com. So go there right now and mention the show, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Save yourself $200, sdfatloss.com. Let's pop some D champagne coming up next. Ow! Yeah! Where did he just run off to? Where did he run to? Oh, his lap. Lame. That is not lap worthy. Oh, man, it's the time of the show where we get to read a liner, which I'm going to open up here momentarily.
Talk to you about the iHeart app. You just simply download it to your phone. Yeah. It's so easy to do. It's free to use. And we got plenty of songs and playlists too. It's the iHeart Radio app. Yeah. You can download it anytime.
I think you did it.
No, keep going.
No.
It's a duet.
While you're listening on the free iHeart Radio app, make sure you use the talkback mic. It's on the lower right-hand side, a little red button. Tap that, tap that little talkback mic.
And also, guys, our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back September 20th and 21st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Live performances by Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, the Black Crowes, and many, many more. Now is your chance to buy the tickets. AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out.
It's weird. That was weird speaking part in the song. It's cool.
Yeah. That's more of a rap or spoken word. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. One more Win Golf Tournament coming up on Friday. We have one more foursome to give away. We will. That's coming up today in the 8 o'clock hour. So keep it locked into the show today, and you will potentially win yourself away onto the course where we tee off at 9, and you'll be there right behind us on the tee box behind us.
And I think last count, there was 2 foursomes still available for purchase. So if today is the day to do it, onemorewin.org. It's a great cause. It's staying local with high school charities in Southern California, high school athletics. But onemorewin.org, there's still room for 1 or 2 more groups coming up on Friday.
So DeChambeau wins the U.S. Open. Bryson, coming over from LIV, still plays in all the majors on the PGA Tour, or shouldn't even say the PGA Tour. This isn't a PGA event. It's thrown by the USGA. Like the Masters is an Augusta national event. Like the Open Championship is obviously thrown out in Europe. Like, I mean, all of the PGA Championship is the only PGA major event, and they do allow LIV golfers to participate. But Bryson, who's a LIV golfer now, and a lot has been said about LIV golf. It's not as competitive as the PGA. These golfers are coming into these majors, and they're getting beat up by the field because they're not used to golfing at this high of a level. And it's just not true. It's just not true, because we've seen a couple of LIV golfers now win majors. And there are just more stars. Well, it's equaling out, but there are still more stars on the PGA than there are on LIV. But it's starting to become a thing where, okay, well, look, I mean, Live Golf obviously taking money from the Saudis. People really disgruntled by that. Not great. The PGA, though, not rewarding their players with enough of purse or enough of endorsement opportunities and things that they've sort of blockaded along the way as a monopoly for years and years and years, made these players escape to find a secondary option like Live Golf, who's offering all them money.
Well, yeah.
So
checks,
it's like, So what do you do if you're Bryson DeChambeau or one of these other John Rahm or whoever else who's recently signed up? Like, I mean, sometimes it's about doing the quote unquote right thing, and sometimes it's about doing quote unquote the right thing for you.
Bryson seems like a cool guy. Like, a guy. Well, not a cool guy.
No, he seems like he's. Yeah. I can see what you're saying.
Is he not cool? I don't know.
Comes off sometimes a little douchey for a lot of people. Weird. Yesterday, he had the entire country in the palm of his hand. And honestly, this whole weekend, like the way he was interacting with the crowd, I think people loved it. In the past, he has come off differently.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know I've watched this weekend and I thought he seemed fun. I was rooting for the guy, so I was happy. Now, on the flip side, Rory, who falls apart here the last 2 holes, douchey move here. He just leaves, doesn't talk to anybody, hops in the car, walks away, doesn't do any press, and makes sure everybody knows it.
So this is juxtaposed, I think would be the right word. Because Bryson DeChambeau had just lost the PGA Championship by 1 stroke to Xander Schauffele. That was his first major win. And Bryson DeChambeau was on the range getting ready for a potential playoff. Well, you know what Bryson did as soon as Xander made the last putt? Made his way to Xander as he was walking back to the clubhouse, gave him a handshake, gave him a hug, said congratulations. Bryson went over and did media right after. Rory McIlroy sitting in the little waiting room waiting to see if he's going into a playoff against Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson makes the final putt, gives the celebration. Camera goes to Rory. Rory's not there. Yeah. Rory had already picked up his golf bag, was walking out to the parking lot, left, did no media.
What a guy.
Like, here's the deal. When you are, whether you like it or not, when you're a part of a league, part of a team in a league, or, you know, in the case of golf, you're an independent golfer as a part of a league, you represent those other affiliations. Like when I was playing in the NFL, I, in some ways, represented the NFL. You know, in some ways, even as a former player, like if something happens in the news, well, guess what? Like the way I'll be regarded is former player. Like that's just the way it works. That's the way media works. So he is a representative of the PGA, whether he likes it or not. And Bryson is a representative of Live Golf, whether he likes it or not. That's their affiliation. And it'll be that way forever. They'll move on from their careers eventually, and it'll be former PGA star, former Live Golf star. That's the way they'll be regarded forever. So it is a poor representation on the PGA. Whether Rory was thinking that way or not, he is representing the whole of the league in that moment because you are competing against somebody from a different league. Also, he's representing himself. And I don't know if people have been paying attention lately to Rory McIlroy, but not exactly having like the cleanest of months in terms of famous people. Like there was all this allegations about him potentially cheating on his wife. And then all of a sudden they're going to find a way to avoid divorcing each other because they've mended the fence, whatever. I don't know how much of that is true or not. All of it were allegations that were thrown around in very tabloid news articles. But I'm just saying, when you have news articles written about a guy like that, and then he shows up at the U.S. Open and, by the way, plays beautifully for 4 days. I mean, he's at the tippy top of the leaderboard. And then he finishes it that way. Like, that's pretty classless in terms of the normal etiquette during a golf round. So it's a bad look on the PGA. It's a bad look on Rory.
I have a theory. Maybe Rory just wasn't wearing his insoles. And so he was grumpy because his feet were hurting and he had hip pain and back pain. And if he was wearing his insoles, he would have stuck around. He would have done the right thing, shook hands, kissed babies. But instead, he was just in pain.
It was a giant insole.
Tell you what.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, we'll leave it right there. But to your point, Fletch, I mean, really, you might have nailed it. Because with the Good Feet story, I mean, look, you know how it feels like when you have a toothache, right? Yeah, all you're thinking about is got to get to the dentist, got to get this taken care of. And you're just a grouch until you do it. Same thing with back pain. If you've never experienced before, you're lucky, but many, many people do. And around the U.S. or overseas, for that matter, if you're one of those sufferers of back pain or hip pain, or knee pain or any lower body joint pain, feet, ankles, get to the Good Feet store. It may seem like such a simple fix, and trust me, I was a skeptic when I first put these in my shoes, but these Good Feet store arch supports, they're unbelievable. You start walking around in them, and after a week, you realize, wow, some of the pain is fading. You start walking around in them, and for a month or two, you realize, oh my goodness, the pain's gone. And that was my experience. I hope it for you as well. It's an unbelievable kind of revelatory moment when you wake up one morning and you realize, oh, wow, my hip was hurting me so bad I was going to get it operated on. And now it doesn't hurt at all. It's a weird moment, but it's great. And I'm there now, and you can be too. So get to the Good Feet store. Again, 200 plus locations around the U.S. and overseas. They're easy to find. But if you're having trouble finding a store near you, go to goodfeet.com and schedule your appointment. FSA, HSA available. Goodfeet.com. Take the first steps towards living a better life. Coming up next, we got to get back to playing hard or capitalism in action. Which side of the fence do you fall on? And then we got to get back to the Padres as well. We will. Coming up next, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
This update is presented by Taco Bell. Padres get swept by the Mets, losing 3 straight over the weekend. Today, they're in Philly, taking on the first-place team in the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryson DeChambeau outlasts the field at Pinehurst, number 2, winning the U.S. Open by 1 stroke over Rory McIlroy, who missed 2 putts within 4 feet on 16 and 18. And Game 5 of the NBA Finals is coming up tonight. Celtics lead at 3-1. It's back in Boston as the Mavericks look to stay alive. The Cravings value menu from Taco Bell, 10 items, each for just $3 or less, including favorites like the cheesy double beef burrito, loaded beef nachos, and the 3-cheese chicken flatbread melt at participating U.S. stores while supplies last. Price varies, tax extra, double seasoned beef compared to the Burrito Supreme.
It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
I love that show.
We are back after the weekend, and hopefully Fletch can get back some credibility.
We call him on this show the fountain of misinformation because an incompletion, how it is incomplete, counts against completion percentage. Like, that was an actual debate we had on the show. He was like, no, dude. Like, if a quarterback throws it away, it doesn't count.
And then he Googled it for 2 hours.
He didn't speak the rest of the segment. And then he would just intersperse, well, I mean, it's not completely true.
Not helping. Well, let's hope a breakdown of the weekend series versus the Mets out in the Big Apple helps. Now, here are the guys.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. It almost was Big Rich and TD again this morning instead of Fletch. Because Fletch, look, he flew the coop on Friday. J-Rip filled in for him. He was strutting around here with his shirt off for most of that day. And then Fletch comes back. But we just found out, and we're not going to share it, not all the details, but Fletch, it was touch and go this morning. You almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
Delayed flight, a late meal, and then an early wake up.
Yeah, we didn't get home until midnight plus last night, after picking up Brock and everything. It was we got stuck at the Santa Rosa airport for our flight didn't leave Santa Rosa last night until an hour after we were supposed to be landed in San Diego. So that happened. And then we get home and we're both starving. So we grab something on the way home from picking up Brock. And then around 2 a.m., Kendall wakes up not feeling good at all. And then around 3 a.m., I wake up not feeling good at all.
Sweet.
So I think we got food poisoning.
Well,
and then about 20 minutes before the show, I started to feel better.
Okay.
How long is the flight to Santa Rosa? Hour and a half?
Yeah, if that. It's a quick flight, but being delayed at the airport for 3.5, 4 hours, that's the part that sucks.
Yeah, especially when I just want to go home.
It's the worst feeling. Or when you know you have a long drive after a flight. One time we flew into JFK Airport and we rented a car, but the car rental place let us rent a car at the time we were picking it up, which was late at night. But then they were closed. It was like,
wait,
so you had an appointment?
Yeah, like it was like National Rent-A-Car, and we showed up to the desk. We were like, yeah, we don't rent cars at this hour.
That's an episode of Seinfeld.
Are you out of your mind?
That's literally from Seinfeld.
So we go to, it was either Hertz, I forget where we ended up renting the car from, but this guy allowed this entire store's worth of people wait in line because a lot of people like us had rental cars at National, couldn't get them. So everybody's inside of a Hertz. My kids are literally sleeping in our luggage. Like we opened up the suitcases and Ty and Bash both at different times were sleeping inside the luggage. And the guy finally turns around at the front, one of the customers, and goes, they're not renting cars either. So if you're like me and you rented from National and you're like, I'm coming to Hertz to get a car, they don't have cars for us. And so literally like 14 people turned around and left there and went to the next one. Like I said, I forget which one we ended up renting from. But to your point, Fletch, when your flight gets delayed and you just want to get to where you're going, it is one of those the war. So anyways, we're very happy you're here. Thank you for being a part of the show today.
Like the monster kicked in. I feel like I woke up 10 minutes ago. So how was the first hour? Did we do good?
We did it.
We nailed it.
Oh, yes, we did it. Oh. We did so good. You did great.
Thank you. Really.
So listen, and we did cover a little golf. We did cover a little bit of the Padres, and we'll get back to the Padres in a minute. And speaking of golf, we have another foursome to the One More Win golf tournament that's taking place on Friday. So if you want to win those, all you got to do is just wait till the 8 o'clock hour. This hour, however, we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to see the Doobie Brothers, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, June 25th. Also, we got a 4-pack of tickets to the SD Fair. So if you want to go to the San Diego County Fair, you know what you got to do. You got to keep listening this hour. We're going to give away both that pair and that 4-pack.
I was chatting with Mama Dale yesterday about desserts.
Yeah.
And she said, I've never had a funnel cake.
Huh?
What?
That's what I said.
Mama Dale?
Why? Why have you never had a funnel cake?
Does she know that they're awesome?
Apparently not. So we're going to have to make a fair trip.
You got to take her.
Yeah, I got it.
You got to
I got
take her. This has to be rectified like ASAP.
That's what I'm saying.
You
Unreal.
guys might need to slap me after this, but Michael McDonald's the singer of the Doobie Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is
okay,
correct. Yeah.
cool.
But is Michael McDonald playing with the Doobie Brothers here?
No idea.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's-
Sometimes he's in, sometimes he's out.
But we had the Michael McDonald dude on the talkback mic last week, right?
No,
That's
we
right.
did. Yeah.
Can you send us some more?
What?
Yeah, we just like to be serenaded. Yeah, we can only play royalty free Michael McDonald.
It's
So,
right.
so
right.
unless it's a talkbacker on the talkback mic actually singing to us, we can't enjoy his baritone, beautiful, sultry voice. It's unfortunate again.
TD, you got a Michael McDonald impression?
I'd have to listen to him a couple times before I could jump in on it.
This
But
is-
Rich probably can
This
do
is
a Michael
this is one of my
McDonald.
favorites.
Yeah.
I'm a bad
see.
man, I'm looking at Fletch and he had food poisoning all through the night. Him and Brock were trading turns in the bathroom on the pee pads. Listen,
Yeah, careful, because it's royalty free.
Oh, sorry.
and you were so spot on
I mean that
that
felt
people will
good.
think Michael McDonald was here in studio.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But-
I'm sorry, guys, but that's the best I could do on such short notice. Listen,
Yeah, Brock didn't care a lick.
no,
He was like, I'm sleeping. You guys go deal with your stuff.
he was enjoying himself. I'm sure
Wow.
he's like, it's good to be home. Is it capitalism or is it hard play? So when you have a superstar like Caitlin Clark, you would assume a lot of people would want to lean in and be a part of the storyline, and many have in the WNBA. A lot of people have rebuked any chance at, I don't know, being on the quote unquote right side of this storyline. She hasn't had a lot of support, suffice it to say. But in this situation, Angel Reese, the hard foul against Caitlin Clark, the Sky were playing the Fever. The Fever beat the Sky. But the storyline wasn't about the game at all. It was about this one moment where Angel Reese was going up to block a layup. Caitlin Clark was the person with the ball in her hand. And as she's letting it go, she gets clobbered in the side of the head by Angel Reese. She tumbles to the hardwood. After the game, Angel Reese, she's talking about how there's a special whistle for certain players in this league, obviously inferring that Caitlin Clark gets special treatment. And then after the game, Caitlin Clark was asked about Angel Reese, and she was like, listen, there are a lot of stars in this league, and anybody who's paying attention to this league because of one particular player, I mean, it's really good for the league and the growth of the game. I'm paraphrasing for her, but she handled it very diplomatically. It really does feel like Caitlin Clark is a superstar, and she's handling all this exceedingly well. And the rest of these women who are playing against her, I shouldn't say the rest of them. That's a
there's a handful.
generalization. Yeah, a handful of these women playing against her. They feel jealous that she's getting all the attention. And the only way they feel they could get close to the flame is by fouling the living dog bleep out of her on a semi usual basis.
Now, a little confused about the reaction on Twitter because it feels like half the people are saying this is a normal foul, just play on. Like it was a good hard foul by Angel Reese. And I watched that video. I'm like, no, to the letter of the law, that is a flagrant foul. In fact, it could have been upgraded. I think it was upgraded to a flagrant 1, and Angel Reese could have been ejected for that. But it's the way she completely misses the ball and just goes straight for Caitlin Clark's head. Like, take everything else out of it. Who's the superstar? Who's not? Who's the villain? Who's the good? Like, whatever. That is a flagrant foul. And I can't believe people are soapboxing about the fact that it wasn't.
Yeah, that looked like an opportunity was there that you could clothesline Caitlin Clark, and she took it. That's what it looked like.
Anybody defending Angel Reese, to your point, TD, I mean, they just haven't played sports at any level because it's your arm. You know where your arm is going. Look, Angel Reese knew what she was doing.
Yes.
It was 2 feet from the ball.
Yeah. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. I think her first, when she left her feet, her thought was, I'm going to block this shot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be on Sports Center later. I'm going to put this one into the 10th road and I'm going to flex over Caitlin Clark. But then when she realized, oh, you know what? She actually jumps higher than I thought, or she's away from me. She might have closed on the basket a little quicker than she had anticipated. And then she went, well, consolation prize, I get to try to take her out of the game. And so here we go. And she put her forearm right on her forehead.
Yeah, I mean, it was flagrant, and it's like you said, Rich. It's a handful of players here that are doing this sort of thing, and I'm sure it's jealousy. Maybe there's some capitalism behind it. Of hey, look, I'm going to become a star here in the league. I'm going to become a villain that people will want to pump up because there will be anti Caitlin Clark people. But at some point, you would think the league would go, hey, look, we get it. You can't go clobber this woman every single time she's out there.
Friday.
Perfect segue into my morning monologue, and then I'll get out of the way. But really quick, Angel Reese is kind of a genius. Look, let's be very honest with each other. Nobody is really paying attention to the WNBA. I mean, again, we covered this with Jonas Knox this morning. He jumped on the show. They're getting hundreds of thousands of viewers, which is a nice bump up from where they were, which was something less than what they're getting this year. But the fact of the matter is, there are still, on an average basis, less than 1 million people on average tuning in for these games. And that's fine. It's a fringe sport. It always has been. And it is growing. And that's thanks to Caitlin Clark. But let's be very honest. We wouldn't know who Angel Reese was if there was no Caitlin Clark. We would have no awareness of her. And so the fact that Angel Reese is connecting herself to this supernova, she has literally grabbed the tail of a comet and she's hanging on for dear life and she's getting headlines. Look, I would have not have known of Angel Reese if it weren't for Caitlin Clark. And I think somebody in her camp or Angel Reese herself is smart enough to realize that too. And they're telling her, or she's cognizant of the fact that the longer you can stay at this party is the longer you can be relevant. Is it the best way to go about business? Maybe not. But we've seen this before. This has worked in the political sphere. This has worked in the reality television sphere. Sometimes bad news is still news and the hype is real and it creates ratings and interest, and good things are on the other side of that. So I think Angel Reese is a genius.
By the way, sitting at this moment, it feels like the peak of Caitlin Clark is behind us. Like things have been fading here as far as the hype goes with the WNBA and the excitement level. And we wouldn't be talking about a Fever Sky game if that didn't occur.
100%.
So
that nobody cares. I mean, I don't even know the score of the game. I know the Fever won. I don't know what Angel Reese's stat line was. I think Clark was the points leader, but you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know, and I don't really care. What I care about is what people seem to be caring about, which is the fact that this hard fail occurred and there seems to be bad blood there. And much like WWE promotions, we're leaning into the beef. Yeah. That's what the WNBA feels like right now. It feels like professional wrestling. It's just a very interesting moment, and Angel Reese is capitalizing on it. What do you got, TD?
What I got is yesterday, Father's Day, we go out for a Mexican dinner.
Nice.
It was delicious. As we were finishing up dinner, I thought, who invented the chips and salsa? Because the chips and salsa may be my number one go-to snack food, dinner replacement. Like if I was on Survivor and I got to bring a item along with me, it'd probably be chips and salsa.
Interesting.
If I was on Naked Afraid, oh, you can bring one item. It might be chips and salsa. I mean, chips and salsa is so good before the meal. Then I eat the meal. I'm so full. And then I'm like, you know what? I probably got room for some chips and salsa.
That's such a good point.
I will always go back to chips and salt. Right now, I could eat chips and salsa. Chips and salsa is the king of food for me.
You want to hear something funny? So salsa was served at the Father's Day meal we had yesterday.
Okay.
But there wasn't any tortilla chips on the table. There were
what
crackers.
the hell do you do?
Well, so there were chips, there were potato chips, there were crackers, and there might have been one other, item that would make sense to dip into.
Okay.
But I remember thinking to myself, like, tortilla chips, they've got it right, man. Because like anytime I see salsa, I want a tortilla chip.
Right.
Like it's immediate in my brain.
Right.
Like anytime I think of Mexican food, anytime. So I'll tell you what, it was still great salsa, but I agree with you. If there's one thing that any Mexican meal that I've ever had that comes without a bag of chips or some chips, or like, so you could scoop up like the leftovers of the burrito.
Yeah.
It's not a Mexican meal I want to be a part of.
By the way,
yeah,
when you go to a Mexican restaurant, typically there's not a spoon left for you because there's chips.
That's right.
I can just use that as my vessel to get the salsa on whatever I'm eating.
Last thought on this. I never in my life have I ever walked up to a restaurant and said, hey, before I start my meal, can I just have 10 flour tortillas? I just want to chomp on those real quick.
Right.
But I for sure have had 40 tortilla chips.
Absolutely.
Which 40 tortilla chips, I mean, if you think about a tortilla chip, that equals 10 flour tortillas.
Which if you ate 10 flour tortillas, you'd be so full. Not with chips and salsa.
No,
they're magic.
They are magic.
It's like ice cream. There's different categories for everything, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. That is exactly correct.
Like different chambers in your tummy for different
Oh,
foods,
yeah.
so you don't
Yeah,
get full.
yeah.
You think you don't have room for anything, and then somebody goes ice cream. You go, I could go for ice cream.
Chips and
Probably fit
salsa,
that
same
in.
thing.
Yeah.
My morning monologue comes off the heels of something that I've never done before. It was a new experience for me, and I really, really loved it and didn't think I would.
Hang on a second.
Wait.
Quick time out. Do we want to discuss this on the talk back
Yeah.
before?
No, this is
what is the
this
one
is
thing?
fully great.
Okay.
There's nothing negative about this. This is the most G-rated morning monologue you'll ever hear.
G-rated.
Oh, jeez.
Well, now I'm lost.
So yesterday we had some time to kill before we go to the airport. We're just in downtown Santa Rosa.
Okay. This is
A Time to Kill, 1996.
Great
So,
movie.
Great movie.
My cousin Grace, shout out Grace, she was the one kind of driving us around, and she lives up in that area. So she was kind of giving us some advice on what to do. Well, you can only sit in like a Starbucks for so long. In the same parking lot as the Starbucks, there was a nail salon. And Grace said, what if we go get pedicures?
Wait.
And I said, I've never had a pedicure before. I don't know what's going on with the pedicure. And she said, it's basically a 20-minute foot massage, and then they do some stuff to your nails. And I said, well, can I just do the first part, like the foot massage part? And she said, yeah, sure. Just tell them you don't want your nails done. They'll probably just go over you twice with the hot stones. Guys, I got a pedicure yesterday, and it was the greatest GD thing I've ever experienced in my life. I cannot tell you how relaxed I was walking out of that shop. And if you ever need to kill 20 minutes, get a pedicure. It is the greatest. I can't even put into words how happy I was when I left that shop.
I feel like we talked about this about a week ago.
Yeah.
And we talked about doing like a show pedicure.
Yeah.
I'm down.
And now, but you already did the
I'll
pedicure.
go get another one today. That is a worthwhile $30 spent.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, trust me, I waffle on this constantly. Now, hearing you describe it immediately, I was like, oh, I mean, of course Fletch got a pedicure.
Guys, it was so good.
And I mean, but at the same time, like, I'm curious. Here's the thing. I always think about like my dad, like, I mean, kind of like a grizzled blue collar worker his entire day. Like all of my memories of my dad is him covered up to his elbows in grease,
right,
washing his hands at the kitchen sink with Gojo, like the pumice soap.
Yep.
And my mom going, you're getting grease all over the counter, Rich. Take it into the bathroom. You need a shower. And then he'll say things like, well, Patty, I'm not done yet. Like the car's still on the damn things, and I gotta get, I know nothing about cars, but I got to get the redistribution valve reset. And I just need a sandwich. And she's like, take it into the shower. So it's like he's sitting there washing his hands. And I think to myself, like I'm watching this scene unfold in front of me. This is how he supported a household. And I'm going on my sports talk radio show. You know what I should do is get a pedicure today.
You really should.
I mean, what you want to talk about a juxtaposition to bring that word up again? My God, like the life I'm living versus the life my father's lived.
You know what? Your dad would probably love a pedicure.
Oh,
was there a vat of water you had to put your feet in? Yeah, I'm out.
There's no like fish or anything going to chew on your feet, but no, it was great, man. So they start like it's the warm water that's the perfect temperature that they kind of fill up the basin with, and then the chair, by the way, you're sitting on is a massage chair, and so it's giving you the like kneading massage all the way down your back the whole time. And then the lady comes up and she's like, okay, put this foot here, and then they scrub you down, right? They have a little bristle that they scrub you down with, getting all the dead skin gone, and then they just massage your foot. Like if they just called it a foot massage and not a pedicure, I think a lot more people would go.
I don't know if anybody's ever touched my feet.
Boy, yeah. I'm
first time for everything.
I think about it like I would feel bad if I was in your situation where it was like half a day spent doing other things like brunch and driving around and walking around downtown Santa Rosa or wherever you were, and then deciding to go get a foot massage. Like, look, I don't have body odor really.
Oh, right.
except for my feet.
That's why your feet get washed before they start giving you a foot massage.
But somebody's got to wash them.
No, the water does most of the work when you're just sitting there, and it like rotates through it. It's kind of.
What do they do with the water?
They drink it
when you're done.
It drains.
Okay.
What do they do with the basin?
Oh,
So actually, glad you asked. There's like kind of a saran wrap plastic baggie that goes in the basin,
well,
and
hang
so
on.
that saran wrap plastic baggie
Well,
gets
hang
taken
on,
out after
dude.
every appointment.
Hang on.
it's a boiling bag.
It's a crab bag.
Wait, you do that? You do this with your crock pot?
That's exactly right.
It's a
Yeah, it's
liner.
like a liner of a crock pot.
All of a sudden, interested?
All of a sudden,
I'm telling you,
sounds like we're making shepherd's pie.
you guys could laugh about it for a while, like going in, like, oh, this is so silly. You're gonna leave that pedicure shop and be like, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life.
You know what? Every time you say it, though, for whatever reason, it makes my stomach.
It's because of the name. If it wasn't called a pedicure and it was just called awesome 20-minute foot massage, that's what it is.
All right. Give us time to think about it. All right.
Yeah.
I did
It's a lot.
specifically ask. I said, don't do anything with my nails because I can't do the nail filing sound.
Right,
Kills
right.
me.
All right. Just give it. You know what? Speaking of feet, though, I mean, if you haven't done it yet, after a pedicure, maybe get out to the Good Feet store, right? You know, if you're going to be thinking about your feet anyways, make it a whole trip, right? Head out there, get the pedicure done, stop over to the Good Feet store. It's a try before you buy experience. And if you're suffering from lower body joint pain, your back, your hips, your knees, your ankles, your feet, whatever's bugging you. Maybe you were walking around, I don't know, a theme park here around San Diego, on the beach somewhere, you know, and you're thinking, gosh, like I got to do something about this ankle. I got to do something about this back. I wake up and I just feel awful. All I was doing was carrying the kids' stuff and I'm following them while they're going on the manta ray. And now I can't walk for 3 days following it. That stinks. But with the Good Feet store, you won't have to worry about that anymore because they'll set you up with arch supports that you just slide into your footwear, whatever you wear, work shoes, work boots, or even your walkers when you're going around these theme parks. And you'll wake up the next day feeling great. That's what happened with me. I started wearing these arch supports and I'm a different guy on the other side of doing this experience. I'm actually due to get new ones. I've worn these so much that I'm wearing one of the pairs out. So look, if you're anything like me, you know that your body, as you get older, you can't stop Father Time, right? I mean, he's undefeated for a reason. But what you can do is slow down some of the effects of getting older. So if you do have hip pain that's been bugging you for a while, back pain that's been aching you for a long time, or knee, ankle, or foot pain that you just can't seem to shake, get to the Good Feet store. Check them out online at goodfeet.com. You can find your nearest location and you can book your first and free appointment right there. That's goodfeet.com.
By the way, while you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, hit us up on the Talkback mic. Just open up that free iHeartRadio app and then listen to San Diego Sports 760, and you'll see a little microphone on the lower right-hand side. That's the Talkback mic. Go ahead and send us a message using the Talkback mic. It's right next to the play button. Leave a 30-second talkback on the Talkback mic. We want to hear from you on the Talkback mic. Ask us a question, whatever you want to do using the Talkback mic, only on the free iHeartRadio app, the Talkback mic. Ow!
Talkback mic, Talkback mic, Talkback mic.
There you go.
This update is presented by Taco Bell. Padres get swept by the Mets, losing 3 straight over the weekend in New York. Today they're in Philly, taking on the Phillies, the first place team in the NL East. Bryson DeChambeau outlasts the field at Pinehurst, number 2, winning the U.S. Open by 1 stroke over Rory McIlroy, who missed 2 putts within 4 feet on the 16th and 18th holes. And Game 5 of the NBA Finals coming up tonight. Celtics lead the series 3-1. Mavericks looking to stay alive in Boston. The innovation you've been waiting for is here. The Big Cheese It Crunch Wrap Supreme and Tostada from Taco Bell. 16 times the size, 16 times the cheesiness, 16 times the innovation. Get one today at participating stores for a limited time while supplies last.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Still got a couple giveaways. In fact, because we have a couple giveaways, we may have to do one this segment, guys.
Yeah,
what
that's
do you
true.
think? What do you think?
Maybe Doobie Brothers?
Doobie Brothers at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, June 25th. Deets and seats at Ticketmaster.com. Or don't go anywhere, because in 5 minutes, we're going to tell you when to call to get those tickets.
Love that. I live around the corner from a novel writer, and I didn't realize this, but a gentleman who sits out on his patio out in Pacific Beach, who I see with a laptop. A lot of times you can see through the window or hear through the window he's watching the Padres games. I know he's Padres fans. I talk to anybody who's on their patio, whether they want me to or not. Hey, neighbor, try to get to know the neighborhood. But this guy, I see him every once in a while, and I was catching up with him, and he goes, yeah, he's like, and these Padres, my goodness. And I'm like, I know, and we're both commiserating over it. But he said something actually pretty intelligent, and I brought it up earlier today, and I actually had forgotten where I heard it. and now I want to give him credit. But my neighbor was the one who reminded me that there are some aspects of this team that are so different from last year that you can comfortably say this is a much better team, overall team, than they were last year, even though you could argue they had better players. They had more stars. Josh Hader was a part of that team. Juan Soto was a part of that team. But in terms of like the stardom or the star players they had, I mean, is that what makes a team? No, the answer is like the collection of all the parts make a team. And this year's Padres team overall have performed better to this point in the season than the 2023 Padres. And that's just a fact.
Well, we talk to Kevin Acee every single week. He's there every single game. He sees what goes on. And right at the start of the season, we were talking about the different feeling in the locker room, the feeling of the team. And he said, this is much different than last year. The way things feel this year is so much better, which that alone would generate wins.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been, Rich, former NFL player, you've been in a multitude of locker rooms
with Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers,
right?
And that other guy, Kevin Cobb.
Kevin Cobb, yeah.
Okay, so if the locker room's buzzing, everybody feels good.
Yeah.
I mean, that sure helps a win,
dude. 100%. It's like anything else in your life. If you show up to work with a great attitude, you're gonna have an easier time at work. If you show up to a family event and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be here, guess what? You're probably going to have a bummer of a time. Occasionally, whatever it is that you feel like you're being dragged to, whether it's your work day or it's something that you don't want to go to, occasionally you can still find your way having a good time. But the reality of the situation is your attitude pretty much dictates how you're going to enjoy or not enjoy something. Your attitude dictates how hard you're going to work towards something. Your attitude dictates a lot. So when things are going well in a locker room, trust me, it feels like everybody's working harder. Everybody's locked in a little bit more. Everybody is, because it's working. Winning cures all things. That's a statement is true in football, in the sport I played, as it is in a clubhouse in baseball.
Well, it's kind of like being at work. When you feel like you are contributing, when you feel like your part in the mechanism is meaningful in some way, you want to go play your part.
You nailed it. That's it. It's purpose. It is like at the root of everything in our lives. We just want to feel purpose, right? Whether it's, I don't know, be a good parent, or be a good friend, or be a good coworker, or be a good employee, or be a good boss. Right? Supervisor, small business owner, whatever it is, whatever aspiration you have, like you just described, you want to feel purposeful in that pursuit. And so when things are going well, it feels like, wow. So not only am I working toward having a purpose, but it's actually working out for me.
Yeah. So if the purpose isn't there with the Padres team, they're never going to be successful.
Yeah. And I know it feels grim when they go on a streak like they did against the Mets in New York. And I know that a lot of people, and it's easy to complain about this team. It was far easier last year because of the abundance of superstars they have. And how little results they had. I mean, Blake Snell, I failed to mention Blake Snell, Juan Soto, Hader, Blake Snell. They had way more star power last year. But this is a better team this year. It really, truly is. Yeah. Because, again, we brought this up earlier also. It was a wait. We were referencing mid-May for months and months and months and months before they finally, in the fall or sometime after the summer, were able to finally get to 500 again.
Well, what's crazy is you talk about the pendulum swinging back and forth as they stay around 500. It doesn't seem like as a volatile of a team as last season. Last season felt like they were on high highs and low lows.
It felt like that we were, skating around on banana peels the whole time. It was really, really difficult.
A Padre positive here. I thought they were 2 games under 500. They're only one.
They're only one game under 500. 37-38 ball club. Okay, right now, we are going to give away that time for the Doobie Brothers tickets. So if you want to win them, Fletch, what do you say? 7:43 sound good?
Perfect.
Okay,
that is the best time you've ever said in your life. Wow. God.
Good Lord.
Thank you, Fletch.
I love that time. 7:43. Doobie Brothers, baby. Hell yeah.
Doobie Brothers?
God.
Work, dude?
So I'm doing paperwork back here and it sucks. But you're welcome to everybody. I'm
Ow.
emailing about your pickup times for your San Diego Fair tickets.
877-767-4760. Call in at 7:43. You got Doobie Brothers tickets coming your way. On the other side, we got a 4-pack of San Diego County Fair tickets to give away.
Dude.
County Fair tickets? Hell yeah, dude. And then we'll talk a little golf. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, another giveaway this hour, a 4-pack to the San Diego County Fair, a joyous occasion happening at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Trust us when we tell you we got the scoop last week. Woo! Yeah. No, listen, it's great every year, and I do mean that. The kids love it. We were just talking about it in the house. I was like, do you guys want to go to the fair? Dude, they love, and I mean love, going through the livestock. Seeing all the giant animals.
Do you ever walk through the halls and look at the flowers that people have? And So the flowers that win these awards, but how long are they sitting in there? How do they last so long?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I have spent very
magic.
Apparently.
Magic at the San Diego County Fair. And guess what? You're going to be a part of the magic.
Woo!
Yeah, we're giving away that 4-pack in just minutes. So if you want to take your whole family, just wait for a few more minutes. We'll tell you exactly when to call. But yeah, like the kids love it. Great time every year. You know what the kids don't love? They don't love it when dad puts golf on the television.
Why?
Dude, so Ann had to take a phone call for a little bit, obviously calling around saying Happy Father's Day. And I'm like watching golf, the US Open's on, and it's Father's Day. And I'm just like, guys, like this is what it looks like. Like, this part of growing up. Sometimes dad has the remote, sometimes you have the remote. I'm like, that's Bryson DeChambeau. I'm trying to talk him through. It's Roy McIlroy.
Yeah, but this wasn't golf. This was a war.
Dude.
This was some of the most entertaining golf in like a decade.
My son was like, why is his name pronounced Oberg if it's spelled Aberg? And I'm like, because he's a foreigner, son.
They don't know how to do it.
Yeah. I'm like, and you see Pavin, his name is pronounced Paval. I was like, yeah, figure that one out. The French. Anyways, so we're watching golf, and the kids hated it, but I was locked in because Bryson DeChambeau and Roy McIlroy back and forth through the final round. And it's just sad the way it ended, because look, it was great. US Open, an American wins it. However you feel about Bryson DeChambeau golfing on Live Tour, I get it, whatever. People are always going to disagree with that. But an American winning the US Open, it just feels good. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's like that patriotism or nationalism, whatever it may be, but it just feels good. It feels right. Mm-hmm. And then Rory McIlroy, who's an Irish of Irish descent, playing on the PGA Tour for all these years. And again, it has nothing to do with where he's from. But like there was a lot of like this, like almost like anti-American rhetoric being hurled towards Rory for the way he acted on Twitter and things like that. I'm like, I don't think we really need to draw those lines or those. But it was weird. It almost felt like another touchstone for people to argue with each other. I'm like, instead of this being so much fun because of the way Rory McIlroy handled losing the tournament, the storyline, instead of being about Bryson, it's about how poorly Rory handled it.
Yeah, and man, that can get convoluted quickly because Rory, who represents the PGA is the look of the All-American league, right? So you have an All-American league with an anti-American representing that league, and then you have an All-American representing the non-American league.
No,
it all gets very confusing. I think ultimately golf is still being hurt by this split in this division, and it sucks when you see a tournament like we just saw, which was awesome for 4 days, where guys were really struggling. Like a lot of dudes who usually look like the best in the world kind of look like us this weekend because the course was that hard. The final score, Bryson wins it at 6 under par, which the U.S. Open is just saying, that's perfect. That's what we want. We want it to be tough. But you see all the names at the top of the leaderboard, and half of them are Live, half of them are PGA. And when they're all together, they can make these incredible tournaments that are super high drama. And then next week, they're going to be all split up again. That's the part that kind of sucks.
I agree with that. I don't like the division between the two leagues because I think it makes golf less interesting. It's like almost like diluting it, whereas when they're all the stars all combine, and there's Tiger Woods in the field, even if it's not for a major, even if it's just for a tournament that's coming down the stretch on a random Sunday. And, there's names at the top of the board that people, all of a sudden people will be interested in the Valspar or, shoot the Travelers, like, some of these one-off tournaments that nobody usually cares about. Occasionally they'll pop when all of the stars were together because something magical was happening. It doesn't really happen anymore, unfortunately. And I agree with that. Look, Rory McIlroy is an interesting cat because he's had success, but he has had these amazing weekend failures on tour. We've seen this many times. There are a lot of great players, great athletes who've gotten close to success, but never really did it. Like think Dan Marino with the Miami.
Right.
I mean, never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
One of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play.
2 years ago at the British Open, when it was at Royal St. Andrews, Rory McIlroy, the last hole, 18, it was him and Cam Smith tied. Rory misses the 5-footer. Cam Smith makes the 5-footer. Yesterday, Rory, 16 and 18, misses 2 different putts within 4 feet. Rory loses. Bryson makes his par putts, and Bryson wins. Rory McIlroy has been a great champion through majors. I think it's been 10 years since he won his last one. It's like at this point, Rory McIlroy, if you're not going to get another one, man, and you're going to complain and look like kind of a wimp after the end of this one, maybe it's time to go bye-bye.
We're going to be golfing this Friday at the One More Win golf tournament.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. If you would like to sign up, if you would like to grab a foursome, there apparently are a couple left. You got to go to onemorewin.org. It's the number one morewin.org. We're going to be giving away another foursome.
Yes.
Is that for sure?
That's for sure.
Okay. Now, we're going to actually have a five-some, because we've got Tony Concha, Cake and Bottle, 10 locations all throughout San Diego County joining us. And then Jesse Lozano, who's throwing the tournament, his producer is going to be on our team. Is producer Shelly, the best we have? I mean, she's going to run circles around us.
We've never seen Tony golf. We've seen video of him on a golf course doing what we do, which is drink.
Yes.
So we've never actually seen Tony golf. So he could be a sleeper, but Shelly Brown right now, downtown Shelly Brown, we're counting on you.
Yeah.
We are counting on you.
She's been practicing, by the way.
Oh, she sent us a video on Instagram from the golf course, and I immediately commented on it. Everything's going to be fine.
Right.
We're great at this.
Right.
Something to that effect.
Right.
I haven't golfed since the last time I golfed with you guys, which I don't know when that was.
If you watched this video, she did call the show TD Rich and Fletch, which that's kind of a nice ring to it.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's what they.
Wait, I thought it was Big Rich, Bulimic, and Fletch. Oh, that's what we were going with. Are you going to puke on the golf course?
Whoa.
Only if he brings his shovel.
This out.
That's not what he calls it. What does he call his shovel?
The dirt spoon.
The dirt spoon.
Yeah. Listen, I used several dirt spoons this weekend.
And my digging stick.
The digging stick and the dirt spoon. That's correct.
I love how.
Did you puke this weekend?
I got close. Now, I went on Saturday. I went and got a half a yard of gravel in the back of the GMC.
Of course.
Right. So I had about 3/4 ton. I had to scoop out with a shovel. And as I was shoveling it on the hottest day of the year so far, throwing gravel in the backyard along the side of our house, I thought, oh man, I probably drank too much Gatorade. I feel like this may come back up. And then it dawned on me, Rich, former NFL player.
Yes.
Out on the practice field, you're telling me that you never got sick and then just threw the helmet back on and went and played?
Oh, no. Of course it happened.
Okay, same scenario.
Not the same scenario.
A
world-class athlete, guy shoveling gravel. Different.
Wait, hold on. I have expelled so much energy. I'm tired. I'm sick. Same.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There is something very different to working yourself into an absolute dizzying dehydration and vomiting on a football field versus grabbing the dirt spoon with a little gravel to spread around the backyard and being like, you know what? The tuna's not agreeing with the Gatorade.
Here's the thing.
Here comes some ice punch and some chicken of the sea.
You are a well-oiled machine. I am a broken down egg beater out here trying to scoop up gravel. So if I start to get sick, I mean, that's just my level of athleticism.
Well, listen, when we go out to the One More Win golf tournament, I want you to bring the dirt spoon just in case. Because
are we digging trenches?
Because golf occasionally can be it could be hot. Who knows? You might all of a sudden get the stomach bug, and you might have to bury some vomit on the course somewhere.
You know what was cool?
TD brought up a good point. It is like literally the number one. So if you're typing in onemorewin.org to the website, it is the number one, like the digit one.
So we're going to be giving away another foursome to join us on the golf course in San Marcos. Tee off at 9 on Friday. So if you can make it, we'd love to see you out there. Go to the number onemorewin.org if you want to sign up with your group, or just wait in the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to be giving away one more foursome for the One More Win golf tournament. Again, that's on Friday. We have to give away our county fair tickets, though, right now. So 877-767-4760. Don't call right this second, but at 7:59, at that number I just gave you, caller number 5 is taking the whole family to the San Diego County Fair.
That's a really good time also, by the way.
Thank you very much. Are we going to have 4-packs of the fair tickets all week long?
All week long.
How about Doobie Brothers?
All week long.
We got a pair of Doobie Brothers, and we got a 4-pack of county fair tickets all week long. So if you're listening to this show and you didn't win them today, be listening. We got the golf tournament tickets to give away next hour. Also, we got to get back to the Padres. We got to get back to the NBA Finals and a little bit more conversation about how capitalism is crushing the WNBA next.
But first,
speaking of a 1/4 ton of gravel, my God, if you would have looked at me, I had a wheelbarrow ass for a little while.
That dump truck.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, I had just a full load, just a 1/4 ton of gravel. And
it was lumpy and pea gravelly.
TD, he got his dirt spoon out and he's like poking at my stomach. I'm just like, hey, leave me alone. And then all of a sudden he was getting sick. I'm like, is it me?
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's just the Gatorade.
Yeah, it was a lie though. It was you.
It was me.
Yeah.
Because I was full of blubber. Just absolutely disgusting. A wretched shell of my former self. I mean, I once was a first-class athlete.
Whoa,
you know what I turned into? I turned into a big fatso.
But you know what? Wayne and Chloe over at SD Fat Loss, they could see through all that.
They did.
Okay. They thought we are going to mold this ball of clay into something beautiful.
And it was just a giant ball of clay. They got out all the Play-Doh tools and they were just doing that. First they made heart shapes. I'm just like, wait, is that really necessary? And Chloe's like, it's a part of the process. Shh.
Right.
Anyways, listen, we got to run.
Yeah.
But I do want to direct you.
But you don't have to run at SD Fat Loss.
No.
You don't have to exercise.
No exercise needed.
5 seconds?
SDFatLoss.com. Go to SDFatLoss.com. If you mention Big Rich Seed Flex, you save $200 off your subscription. SDFatLoss.com.
All right, hour 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by the West Automotive Group. Padres get swept by the Mets over the weekend, losing 3 straight. Bryson DeChambeau wins the U.S. Open, outlasting Rory McIlroy, who missed 2 putts within 4 feet on 16 and 18. And Game 5 of the NBA Finals coming up tonight. Celtics lead at 3-1. Time is money, and there's no good time for your vehicle to break down. Keep your car and your schedule running smoothly with West Automotive Group for the highest quality of customer service and vehicle repair. Visit westautomotivegroup.com to book your appointment today.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This hour is about our listeners because we have a very special foursome to give away. So we want to meet some of you. We'd love to on a golf course, and we're going to be golfing on Friday. Jesse Lozano's One More Win golf tournament coming up. And so if you want to join us on the golf course, Friday morning, 9 a.m. tee time, all you got to do is keep listening. This hour, we're going to give away another foursome. So that is coming up in just mere minutes. We're not going to tell you when, but at some point, we're going to give you a time to call. You dial in, and it'll be the first caller that Fletch picks up on. Boom. You're going to be out there. You're going to join us on the links in San Marcos.
What should be the cue? Should we all just start barking or something?
We don't want to confuse everybody with prize picks.
Yeah, they'll
right.
immediately start downloading something.
Prize picks.
Yeah.
Promo code DOGS. Sign up now. Have your first deposit doubled up to $100. And 8:30 also, by the way, just to give a couple of timestamps, we're going to be joined by the CEO of Sports San Diego, Mark Neville. We're going to be talking about a brand new happening around the state of California. We're very excited for. That's just in a little bit. What do you got?
I just reminded me, or I just thought of it. You already have a cowboy hat.
I do.
Fletch and I are going to need to get cowboy hats.
Yes, you do.
Well, yeah.
Because, yeah.
We've got Country Dance Chris coming in. She's the blue-haired goth girl, the line dancer who's blowing up on TikTok and social media. She's going to stop by and show us how to line dance on Thursday.
I cannot wait.
In fact, I think she's going to make us drinks too.
Oh, dude, even better.
Like, we're going to have to turn this place into a good old-fashioned honky-tonk.
I'm pretty sure we could do that.
we need hay bales.
We need hay bales. We need what do we probably need some livestock.
Yo, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Lucy?
Yeah. Lucy the goat. Are you listening? We need a goat. Or just a giant cow. I'd be fine with that.
Right.
I don't know much about cows.
Just a bovine right behind us.
Yeah, something,
That'd
to
work.
really set the scene.
We had a cow growing up at my grandparents' house. Her name was Buttercup. She was the sweetest, like the best pet you could ever have as a
She's
cow.
still around?
No, Buttercup, no.
Wait, hang on. You said that like the Buttercup met a tragic end.
No, I think Buttercup was just like 19 when I was born, and Buttercup kept going somehow for a long time.
Wow.
We also had a goat named Apple-Annie. Great pet.
Apple Annie. So the Buttercup, did that turn into?
I don't know if Buttercup was actually 19. I just threw that out there. I just know Buttercup was old when I was born, and Buttercup didn't make it that much longer.
Was Buttercup a pet or was she food?
I mean, we milked her, but
okay, yeah, dairy cow then. Yeah.
but
Was Buttercup a male or female?
female.
Okay.
You can't milk males, Travis.
Well.
But no, Buttercup was the best. She was a total pet. My grandma loved her.
Buttercup.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually that's what they call Randy Vasquez, who will take the mound for the Padres when they head to Philadelphia today. 3:40 first pitch.
My little Buttercup has the sweetest smile.
You know what? Actually, I'm not sure if Randy Vasquez.
Did you just WTF us?
What was that? Where did that come from? Is that a song people know?
It's from the 1920s, I believe.
Yeah. I think it was made famous from Three Amigos.
Barbershop quartets used to sing that all the time.
All the time.
Which there are no such thing as those anymore.
Well,
sad.
No, that's not true.
Except Randy Vasquez and the Vasquez Four, who's a quartet that sings outside of barbershops around San Diego.
Viscous Vasquez. That's what they call him.
Oh, I thought he was Buttercup.
Oh.
Viscous Vasquez, you're right. Anyways.
Well, we can still be Buttercup.
Do you think that the Padres, with Vasquez on the mound, going to face the Phillies, who are the second best team in the National League behind the Dodgers, or no, they're the first best? I believe the Dodgers. Either way, they're right up there. They're 1 or 2. The Phillies are really good. Do we give the Padres any shot in this series?
Yeah, they're gonna sweep them.
No,
it's the freaking San Diego Padres. They're gonna get swept by the Mets, who suck, and then they're gonna go out and be awesome against the Phillies, who are great.
See, I kind of agree with you.
Like I promise you,
they're the number one in National League.
They're the first team.
Yeah.
Padres win this series, and I'm willing to stake not my whole reputation, but maybe 50% of my reputation on it.
Which
that they sweep.
Sweep. I said win the series.
Oh, win the series. Yeah, win the series.
I could see that.
I feel that.
Yeah. I mean, again, do I give them a chance? Yeah, because they've done this before. This is a team that in the 2 meetings with the Dodgers have made them look pretty foolish. Like, this is a very good baseball team at times. It's also a very bad baseball team at times. And it feels like they just switch. It really is. It's like a light switch. Sometimes bad, sometimes good, and there's no in between.
Yeah. Well, okay. You want a sample size? Their last 10 games, they're 5-5. I mean, why is everything so middle of the road?
It's just who they are, and it'll frustrate you if you really stare at it too long. You got to take the positives where you can. Look, this lineup's hitting way better than it was hitting last year to this point in the season. They've got real stars on this team. And some of them were not stars we saw coming, like Jackson Merrill. He's a young star in this league. Matt Waldron can really pitch at the major league level.
Thank God, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, otherwise, this team is in a world of hurt because, we're not trying to compare to last season because we're 75 games past that. But when you look at last season and the superstars who didn't show up, here we are again with the superstars not really showing up. Now, again, Tatis looking like he's starting to get hot. The past few weeks have been fantastic. I like that a lot.
Not a great weekend for Fernando, but
okay. Yeah, I know. But
he was on fire.
But sample size. So, that could turn around, and then all of a sudden you forget about last weekend.
Chunks at a time. You could end up having a great series against the Philadelphia Phillies, and then you'll connect it to the longer stretch of time it's been that he's really turned it on for the Padres. If there are things that are positive, now don't get me wrong, there are things that are negative. They've had serious and significant injuries to people that they're really depending on. Jerks and Profar. Manny Machado's got a nagging injury from this offseason. That elbow still doesn't seem right. I think it's affecting his timing. That I look, there are probably other things that are contributing. He's a new dad. Mentally, physically, there's a huge connection there. In baseball, especially, it's such an individual sport. But he doesn't look right. Darvish and Joe Musgrove, the injuries that both of them have suffered throughout the season so far, that's hampered the Padres. So it's not all perfect, but there are positives to take away. Try to lean into those as best you can. But at the end of the day, this is a 500 baseball team. We saw against the Mets is not uncharacteristic. This team has lost to bad teams. They did it against the Angels. They got swept by another bad team in the Angels. Just absolutely clobbered by the Angels in Anaheim after coming off the road. And I forget who they were facing before that, and looking pretty good. They're just a conundrum. This team consistently fools you into believing that they're going to be on this straight and narrow, and then they flummox you again. So it just is what it is. They're a 500 ball club. They're better off than they were at this point last year. And just hold on for dear life, because who knows, maybe they'll get hot at the right time.
Padres have a winning record against the Dodgers this year. Padres played really well against the Braves this year. Padres against the Angels, who have a 28-43 record currently, got swept. Against the Mets, who have a 33-37 record currently, got swept. Against the Rockies, who have a 25-46 record and are currently last in the NL West, got swept. Combined, those 3 teams have a record of 98-126.
Yikes.
All 3 of those teams swept the Padres. Yeah. And the Padres are a 500 baseball team.
Padres have Phillies the next 3 days. Then they have Milwaukee at home.
For 4.
4 days.
No, a 4 against the Brewers at home. And this is in the middle. It's a really tough stretch. These next 10 games, Darnay Tripp put a tweet out about it. Like, the next 10 games could legitimately swing the entire season around for the Padres in one way or another. I don't think that's going to happen. They're just going to be 500 through it. They're going to go 5-5.
Yeah, because the last time they played the Brewers, they played pretty well against them.
They did.
Yeah, but the Brewers, I think, are the top, maybe number 3
team in the Central.
Yeah,
top team in the Central.
So
I mean, but look, they could beat the Phillies and they could beat the Brewers. We've seen them do both. Like, they've been,
but then they'll run into the Angels again.
Yeah, they got to face the Rockies again at some point. They're a division rival, and that is a heated rivalry.
I hate the Rockies. All right, but seriously, these next 10 games, I think it goes Phillies, Brewers, Red Sox for the next 10, and that is a brutal stretch for anyone in baseball to have that as we head into All-Star break and all that nonsense. Those 10 games, what's the record? I would have a hard time not saying 5-5. Like if you were asking me to put money on anything, I would say 5-5.
Dude, yes.
How could you not?
Okay, so we're all in agreement. 100%. I mean, because that's who they've told us they are. They're not lying to us that they win some, they lose some. It's as down the middle of a season as you could get. Again, harkening back to last year, better than where they were last year. And they had more star power, and they had arguably better players on the roster last year. So to me, that signifies that this is a better team than they had last year. Not better collection of talent, but a better team, which is important.
And this is how they'll do it, which is really going to piss everyone off. They're going to go 2-1 against the Phillies. Win 2 out of 3 against the Phillies, split it with the Brewers, but they're going to lose the first 2, win the second 2. So as we go with the roller coaster here. And then against the Red Sox, they're going to win the first one, and you're going to think it's going to be a really good series. Then they're going to get their ass kicked.
They got the
2.
Nationals before the Red Sox.
Sorry, Nationals.
And Nationals are heating up. I think they've won 8 of their last 10.
So then substitute the Nationals for the Red Sox here. So against the Nationals, they'll win the first one. It's going to feel really good, and they're going to drop the next 2.
Man, the teams that they have to roll through, it ain't good.
Well, but then again, it could be because they've beaten good teams.
Right.
And they've been, again, really bad against bad competition so far this season. So I don't know if it's one of those things like everybody tries to put their thumb on it. Like, what exactly are we looking at here? If it's, this team is the type of team that can only get up for games that are, they're facing steeper odds, bigger challenges, better teams, better bats in the lineups, better pitchers. Or if it's just luck and happenstance that it's working out this way. Either way, it's a path that they've walked the entire season. So I agree with both of you. I think there's going to be a 5-5, 10-game split right down the middle. And we're going to be right back where we are in about a week and a half from today.
We got a little basketball tonight. NBA Finals Game 5 tips off tonight. Celtics have a 3-1 series lead here. The Mavs on Friday night trounced the Celtics 122-84. Did that look like a Celtics just didn't really care kind of game?
I feel like the Celtics have been caught flat-footed a couple of times throughout the NBA postseason. It looks like they're playing with their food. It looks like a cat who's been batting around a mouse for too long and finally it bit one of its paws.
Yeah, but I feel like it wraps up today.
I agree.
Yeah, but man, you called it before. You said 5 games.
Yeah,
here we are.
5.
And well, we'll see. We'll see if that pans out. We've been talking about the Padres all morning long here, but after coming off a sweep of the A's, they get swept by the Mets. Padres have been swept by the Angels, Rockies, and now the Mets this season. They face the Mets again August 22nd. That's a 4-game series. That's 0 for 4. I mean, you lose 4 right there. Run to the juggernauts of the Mets. Padres fall to 1 below 500. They're now out in Philadelphia. They take on the Phillies today at 3:40 in the WNBA. The Mercury, Alan Jackson, the Storm, 87-78. The Dream, Weaver, the Sparks, 87-74. And the Fever, Mr. Blued, the Sky, 93-83.
Can you explain the first one, please?
Alan Jackson, Mercury Blues. If I had money, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd go downtown and buy a Mercury or 2. I'm crazy about a Mercury. Woo! Crazy about a Mercury.
Hey, y'all. If you want to join us on the course, one more win golf tournament coming up Friday. We're going to be out there. Tee time's at 9. So if you can show up on Friday with a foursome and you want to golf with us at a golf tournament, having all sorts of drinks and fun, go ahead and just keep waiting. We're going to give you a time to call in here soon. Well, I'm not going to tell you when. It's going to be a big surprise.
Just bring it on.
And then we're not going to talk about it again until the end of the show. And then all of a sudden you'll hear, if you tuned in because you're like, oh, they said it'll be listening during the 8 o'clock hour. We're not going to tell you after there's a winner announced. And then at the end of the show, we're going to congratulate the winner of the foursome. And then we're going to go home. Or actually, we're going to take a nap. And then we're going to be on 101.5 KGB doing our afternoon show.
That's right.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's what is the Monday?
Marathon.
No. My generation.
Oh, it's on
Talking about my generation.
That's right.
We have a Gen Xer and TD.
All of a sudden, it's going to be, hey, Gen Zers like pedicures.
Yeah.
Why is Fletch so lame?
That's where we're heading today.
Well, that's where the text line's going with this. You
know what?
Is it a Gen Zer thing?
I don't think so, but the text line can buzz off. Like if you haven't gotten a pedicure,
Wow.
it's amazing.
Wow.
Just the whole text line.
You know,
Every last one of
everyone
our
on the text
texters?
line?
Yeah, wow.
Just that 619 number.
What?
Asked about me wearing a dress or something. Like,
Well,
it's 2024, bro.
is
I can
it-
get a pedicure.
Wait, do you have other Gen Z friends who get pedicures?
I honestly, I don't know anybody except my grandfather who likes to get a pedicure, and he loves them too.
Wait,
But I
wait.
always kind of made fun of him.
Well,
for
maybe
it.
it's an Italian thing.
I don't think so. I
It's
think
true.
this is just
It's
a.
like figs.
It
Yeah.
should be an everyone thing. Like it's amazing.
I don't think I have any friends, guy friends, that have ever gotten a pedicure.
I don't know if
a
I do
foot
either.
massage. I think they've gone to like Happy Buddha.
You know what? I feel like I've had this conversation. Like I have deja vu about this. Like I feel like somebody else has admitted to this, one of my guy friends, but I can't remember. And I know if it happened, I know they got teased relentlessly. We've been kind to not do that because I think there's a curiosity factor here.
I'm telling you guys, you would not regret it.
But you had hot stones. Does it have to be the hot stone treatment or just any pedicure in general? Are you just a fan of now?
Look, I don't even want to call it a pedicure because that's not what I got. I got a foot massage
Okay.
at a pedicure
But
place.
but didn't they scrub your feet and get the
Callus?
rough parts
Yeah,
off?
yeah, and that's amazing.
How did the ankle hold up?
Really good. That's the best my leg has felt since I broke it.
All right.
All right.
There's a lot of positives towards this.
Well, so listen, all I know is this, it's very, or I shouldn't say very possible, but it's possible that the show goes to a nail salon or maybe has an esthetician or three come in here and we
We got to go in because you got to get on the massage chair.
Maybe
It's
they
got to
can-
be part of
maybe
it.
they
Maybe
have
they
like
can
a
bring that in.
mobile
They have like 3
situation.
chairs.
How
We just
funny
have
would it be
headsets
if we-
on.
We're taking turns getting pedicures on the show.
I think that'd be great. I'm just saying, like the massage chair is part of it, so
What-
that's got to be
Should it
non-negotiable.
Should it be in the control room where it's dark?
Yeah.
Oh, some soft music playing.
Sounds great. Speaking of which, who knows? Maybe that's where Aaron Rodgers was during mandatory minicamp. Maybe he was getting a pedicure or a few. I mean, we still don't know where he was, but we'll find out soon, I'm sure. We'll find out soon. One thing we will also find out soon is what time to call for the one more win golf tournament. We need another foursome. So not right now, but on the other side, wink, wink. I would suggest to keep it right here because we have a foursome to give away to that golf tournament coming up Friday, tea time at 9:00.
Not just playing golf, by the way, hanging out with us on a bar cart Friday,
Yeah,
where we're
buddy.
gonna be lit up there.
Oh, it's
That's
gonna be
true.
lit.
It's true. Lined up, set up there with Tony Conjic, Cake and Bottle, 10 locations all throughout San Diego County, pouring up some drinks.
Pouring up some drinks.
I don't know how excited this makes you guys, but there's something called the golf ball bazooka that will be on the first tee.
I've never
Wait.
heard of such a thing. Is it like a potato gun that launches?
I
golf
believe
balls?
so.
Can we use that instead of the driver?
I believe on the first tee you can.
Sign me up.
I am very interested.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, very, very interested in golfing. So
I'm Googling golf ball bazooka.
While you do that, our listeners should be searching in their app store for Prize Picks.
that's right. Whether it's Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone, wherever you get your apps, download Prize Picks. It's a game changer. It's the most fun you'll play with fantasy sports. I can promise you that. And we've been cleaning up over here on the show. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, all three of us, but specifically Fletch and I mean, really just hammering away on the Prize Picks app. And if you sign up with promo code DOGS, that's DOGS, you're going to have your first deposit doubled up to $100. That's Prize Picks. DOGS is the promo code when you sign up. $100, up to $100 doubled on your first deposit.
And if you're good, if you got the skills, you can turn that into 100 times your cash on Prize Picks. All you're doing is making entries based on 2 to 6 player stat projections on whatever your sport you're watching, whether it's baseball, basketball, power slap, hockey, doesn't really matter on Prize Picks. They got a little bit of something for everyone. And it is the most fun I've had playing these daily fantasy sports app. I've tried them all. Prize Picks is the best. And that's not just me saying that. That is our copy point saying that. Prize Picks is the #1 fantasy sports app on the continent.
Yeah, no question about why it's the most popular. I'll say this. Look, a lot of times when you're watching golf, It's like paint drying. The U.S. Open was a lot of drama, a lot of fun to watch, but there are times where I feel like I'm just slogging my way through a tournament, not with prize picks. You can go more or less on birdie numbers or, even through certain holes. It could just be, hey, on 13, do you think that this golfer is going to go more or less 5 strokes on one hole? It's a lot of fun. It gives you those in-game moments in the NBA, the WNBA, baseball, whatever your sport is. You could bet, or you could place lineups on just one quarter. I've done that with the NBA and the WNBA. It's a ton of fun. Anyways, sign up with promo code DOGS. That's DOGS. First deposit doubled up to $100. Prize picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
We got something called Cal State Games coming up here in San Diego. Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, is going to be talking with us coming up next.
This update is presented by the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency. Padres get swept by the Mets, losing 3 straight games in New York over the weekend. Today, they're in Philly, taking on the Phillies, the first-place team in the NL East. Bryson DeChambeau outlasting the field at Pinehurst, number 2, winning the U.S. Open by 1 stroke over Rory McIlroy, who missed 2 putts within 4 feet on 16 and 18. Game 5 of the NBA Finals coming up tonight. Celtics have a 3-1 series lead over the Mavs. This in Boston. Mavericks looking desperately to stay alive. LGBTQ plus youth who face family rejection may become homeless or enter the foster care system. Individuals, couples, or families can become a foster family. These youth need your nurturing and support. Can you open your heart and your home? Details at SDCares, the number 4, kids.com.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. There it is. We still have a foursome we're going to be giving away to the One More Win Golf Tournament. Jesse Lozano's One More Win Golf Tournament that we'll be playing at this Friday. Keep it locked in here. Meanwhile, it is Olympic season. We're heading into that, okay? And sometimes it feels like we're a little bit far removed from the Olympics. Not anymore.
No.
Not with Cal State Games. Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, putting this on. Mark, how are you this morning?
Doing great, guys. Good to be with you.
Talk to us about Cal State Games. What is it exactly?
So the California State Games has been in San Diego since 1988. Every year there's winter games and summer games, and they are it's the largest Olympic-style sports festival in the state of California. And they're coming up. And in fact, this year is going to be a really special year. It's July 17th to the 21st. Encourage everybody to go to stategamesofamerica.com. It's stategamesofamerica.com. And I say that website because this is a special year. Every other year, it's a biennial event where we have all the state games around the country get together. And so July 17th, July 21st, it's the California State Games. So it's all of the normal stuff that we do with California, but we're also bringing in the medal winners from states all around the country. I think we have more than 30 states represented that will be in San Diego, July 17th to the 21st. And your listeners can participate. You guys can participate. Nice. There's sports for everybody.
What kind of sports? Are we talking like beer pong or what kind of game? Like a cornhole?
Oh yeah,
we're good at that. I'm trying to think of other games. Fletch keeps mentioning this game Dice that they were playing when he was in college. Yeah,
binge watching.
Yeah, is there any binge watching?
You guys are kind of on the right path, but not really.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
So we got sports, more common ones like track and field and swimming and softball, basketball. But there's also some that are a little not as popular, but great sports like archery and badminton, BMX racing, skateboarding, surfing. Really, there's a lot of great sports, a lot of opportunities, and for a lot of my friends are doing it. In fact, I'm going to even participate in it. Is pickleball. So this is an opportunity for everyone to get involved, and this has been an awesome event for San Diego. Drives a lot of tourism for the region. Again, been around since 1988. Really well produced. Sports San Diego just took it on a couple of years ago, and we're really going to be putting on a big show here next month.
And Mark, I love you guys got the countdown on the website going. 25 days, 9 hours, 25 minutes, 37 seconds. I have the same countdown up in studio here for the start of the NFL season, which is actually at 89 days away right now. But it's very cool. So 25 days away. I'm looking at calstategames.org. Is that where people can go buy tickets or go sign up for events?
You can go there. I recommend the stategamesofamerica.com. Again, this is a little different of a year because we're bringing in all the medal winners from around the country. Stategamesofamerica.com. And again, the State Games of America presented by National University. We're fired up to have them on board with us. And our opening ceremonies that we have on Friday the 19th, those are sponsored by Kaiser Permanente. Again, huge community event, thousands of people coming into town, and some great opportunities for people to get involved and participate. All skill levels are welcome to participate and enjoy.
Mark, we appreciate your time this morning, dude. Every single time you come on our show, you're announcing some awesome event taking place right here in our community. This is no different. So again, if you're interested in participating or viewing any of these games, stategamesofamerica.com is where you need to go. And if you participate, I mean, this is coming up quickly. You know, the deadline is right upon us, July 17th through the 21st, right here in San Diego. Again, Mark, we appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
There he goes, Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, talking about the state games of America coming right here to San Diego. There's ninja, there's judo, there's weightlifting, there's badminton, there's pickleball, there's something called artistic swimming that I feel like the three of us would be great at.
Yeah,
Foot golf.
Foot golf?
I actually do want to play foot golf.
Well, yeah, dude, foot golf works for you because you really only have one good foot.
Yeah, and it's not my kicking
not
foot.
feet golf.
My right foot's my kicking foot, which is unfortunate.
That's my good kicking foot.
My kicking foot.
So yeah, definitely get to stategamesofamerica.com.
What's ninja?
Ninja's a great game,
the
dude.
Ninja Warrior course.
It's that. Oh,
yeah.
That is different from the game I was thinking.
What were you thinking? Like, were you thinking like throwing stars?
No, Ninja's cool. It's a game. It's like an ice breaking game kind of you can play. Like we did it at our WoW week in college, which was the orientation. But you all stand in a big circle, and it gets competitive. It gets rowdy, man. And so if you're standing in a circle, say I'm going first. You all strike a pose, right? And I have one move to try to tag your hand. And we can only do one move, and you can only do one move to avoid, and you're all in one big circle, and you can only do one move at a time. It's fun.
That is not the game.
No, it's not. I'm looking at it right now. That is definitely not it.
But that Ninja sounds like fun. This one, Ninja Warrior courses will be set up at the game. So if you got a kid who's climbing all over your house, who's tearing down the drapery, this might be something to sign him up
for your boys.
Maybe we could call Mark back and see if he wants to do my version of Ninja.
Yeah, we should.
They have 25 days to change it.
You know what, honestly? Yeah, maybe you give him a call right now. Just take the conversation off air. Just you and Mark just hash things out. In the meantime, we got the NBA Finals coming up tonight. We also have the One More Win golf tournament coming up on Friday. So if you are listening right now, good job, because in just a few minutes, we're going to be telling you what time to call to join us on the course, 9 a.m. tee time for the One More Win golf tournament presented by Jesse Lozano on Star 94.1. We are very excited to be out there. We're really excited to welcome in another foursome. We were just gifted this foursome, so we're pumped to give this away. So hang in there for just a couple more minutes. NBA Finals, Celtics looking to close it out. Game 5 tonight. It's back home in Boston, an embarrassing road loss to the Mavericks. It kind of felt like their backs were up against the wall. They were. And they fired off on the Celtics. Now, do you think it was more because of Dallas? They've just figured them out. Like it took them 3 games, but then they're like, now we got you right where we want you. Or do you think Boston might have taken their foot off the gas a little bit?
Well, there's also a narrative going around that I don't believe in, because I feel like the teams, when you like see the opportunity to close out a series, you close out the series. But people saying like Boston maybe was taking the foot off the gas so they could go win it at home. I think that's BS. But that is a part of it, right? So now they're back home and they can win it in front of their home crowd. Kyrie Irving talked a lot post-game about going back to Boston this time and wanted to shut up the haters. We'll see if he can do it. I think the series probably ends tonight.
It didn't look like the same Boston team to me. So, I mean, taking their foot off the gas, that's definitely what it looked like. Whether or not they thought, oh, we'll just come back and do it at home. If that was the thought, I always think that's stupid because that could come back and bite you in some manner.
Trust me, athletes don't think that way. That's a media narrative. When you're in a locker room, nobody is thinking, guys, like, you know what we really need to do? We need to do this for the fans. Don't get me wrong. This sounds selfish. It's not. But the farthest thing from your brain when you're actually playing basketball or football or baseball are the fans. You don't care. Not while you're doing it. How the hell could you be concentrating on an arena full of fans or the millions of fans you have around the country while also trying to drain a free throw? Like, trust me, this is not what's going through the minds of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum or Al Horford or any of these players when they're on the court. They're thinking about, hey, let's beat these idiots and bring the Larry O'Brien back home for our parade whenever we get back home from Dallas. Like, that's what they were thinking in Game 4.
So did the Mavs just figure him out then?
No, I think Boston, I think they got complacent.
Yeah.
I think we've seen this a couple of times in a couple of different series so far this postseason. Boston's a very talented team. And I do think that occasionally, not for any greater reason, like it's not because they wanted to win this trophy in front of their fan base, but I do think they take their foot off the gas sometimes. And it's, dude, that is trademark of good teams. Sometimes you're so good that you think you could just roll the basketball on the court and everything's going to be solved. You still got to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be both.
It could be both. And listen, that's Talkback Mike using the Talkback Mike.
Yeah. And thank God he did.
You're right.
Listen,
but I feel like Talkback Mike would know if something shady was going down.
Yeah, and I trust him. And by the way, if you ever want to leave us a talkback, just like Talkback Mike did, all you have to do is click the Talkback Mike. It's the button next to the play button on the free iHeartRadio app. So go ahead and click that. You can leave us a message just like that anytime. We're going to react to that on the other side. Did the Mets do something squirrely, or do the Padres just really suck sometimes, just like Talkback Mike said? We'd love to get an answer to that question. But before we do, it's finally here. If you call at 8:43, that's 8:43 Pacific Daylight Time. Are we still in daylight time?
Yeah, we're
Good.
we're daylight. We're standard time in the fall.
Pacific Daylight Time, 8:43 at 877-767-4760. You can win that final foursome to join us on the course over at Jesse Lozano's One More Win Golf
Pacific
Tournament.
time has different seasons?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's either daylight or standard time. Right now, we're 7 hours behind Greenwich Mean Time.
Let me ask you this question. Like, did it ever strike you as odd that, like, once a year the clock just
I didn't know there was
gain an hour?
a different name for it. That's wild.
Jesus Christ.
You never heard daylight saving time? You ever heard that before?
No, I know what that is, but I didn't know that we were switching the name in the dictionary. That's crazy talk, man.
But like, if you were to tell someone you're booking a guest, you don't tell
I
them.
always just say PST.
I'm going to be honest
But it's
with
not.
you.
See, PST is wrong because we are actually PDT right now.
Well, he's giving,
PST in the fall.
I thought that they were interchangeable.
you're giving me
I didn't think they
PTSD.
mattered.
This is look, Fletch he had a long day yesterday.
Why don't we just say Pacific time?
He had a wedding brunch.
Could say.
He had a delayed flight. He might have gotten food poisoning on his way home.
I think I definitely got food poisoning.
Woke up in the middle of the night and he was barking at the moon. Look, the point is, if you call in at exactly, oh boy, it just clicked over 8:43, you could win tickets to the One More Win Golf Tournament. Join us for a foursome if you call right now at 877-767-4760. Coming up next, we react to Talkback Mike on the other side.
But first,
Yeah.
you guys know when you go to like a wedding and you see that aunt or uncle you haven't seen in a bunch of years and they try to grab your cheeks and like wiggle them around and be like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. Look at you. You've got so big.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of cheek to grab anymore, Auntie. It's because of SDFatLoss.com. It is kind of fun when you don't see somebody that you haven't seen in a long time. And a lot of these people, it was since the last family reunion, and I was able to see them, and they all kind of had the same thought. Wow, you look pretty good, Ben. And we haven't been able to say that for like 5 years.
You do look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that,
Mhm.
Richie. SDFatLoss.com is the place to go. You're going to lose weight. You're going to lose it the natural way with SDFatLoss.com. And if you mention Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, you are going to save $200 off the program. So get on over to SDFatLoss.com. Sign up today. Lose weight the natural way. Don't inject yourself with anything. Just start dieting. SDFatLoss.com.
Man, there it is. You heard from Joe Moon using the talkback mic, firing back at talkback Mike, who is also using the talkback mic on the free IR radio app.
There's a lot of talkback mic.
No question. And if you want to use the talkback mic, all you have to do is click the microphone button next to the play button on the free iHeart radio app. And you too could leave a message like that we'll play. Sounds like there's a budding rivalry a little bit between Joe Moon, one of our favorite listeners, a founding member of the Big Rich, TD, and Fletch fraternity that we will be starting soon, and Talkback Mike, who all of a sudden has risen to the top of the Talkbackers.
Well, and has called himself Talkback Mike.
I mean, he's literally taking control of the Talkback Mike. We have zero control of it.
That's right.
Every time he leaves a message, we have to play it. He's hacked the system.
We do that with Joe Moon, though, too.
That's also true. He's front of the line access.
Joe Moon and Talkback Mike, both. What is it? Fraternity.
That's it's very difficult. Look, we don't even know what we're doing.
Wasn't a part of any fraternity.
Neither was I. Yeah.
Now's our time.
So guess what? We're gonna make up for lost time now.
Hey, you ever see the movie Old School? It's the start of it.
Dude, that is a good point.
Yeah.
It was like all of a sudden they're like, hey,
Speaker City?
You know what? Turns out I hate my job. Not really happy at home. All of a sudden I want to be back on a college campus. Crank the tank.
All right, who's blue? We need one like really old guy who like cannot be hanging around people.
That's Steve, the engineer.
Nope. Cliff Albert.
Come on, boy, blue.
Kogo newsman Cliff Albert. Once he's back off of the injured list, we're gonna bring him into the fraternity.
Right. Although,
and we will kill him.
I don't know. I feel like Engineer Steve, actually does like us. Cliff likes us as people, not the show.
Oh no, yeah. He finds our show highly disagreeable. Kogo newsman Cliff Albert. He has a lot of notes.
Are we sure he likes us as people?
Actually,
well, I mean, I thought so until this moment.
Yeah, it's highly likely he doesn't like us.
Cliff, we like him.
Cliff, we'd like to hear from you. Please leave us a message on the talkback mic.
If you want to be the blue in our old school situation, we'd love to hear from you, Cliff. So talkback mic is open to you at any time. Huge congratulations to Sean. There were many callers, but Sean got through for the foursome of golf that we will play. That's going to be at the One More Win Golf Tournament Friday in San Marcos. It's hosted by Jesse Lozano, Star 94.1. We're going to be joined on the course by Tony Conja, Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. Also, downtown Shelly Brown. Woo! She's the producer of Jesse and Tati in the Morning on 94.1. She's going to jump in our group, because she said, I want to be a part of the fivesome that actually wins this thing. And I said, well, you may have joined the wrong one.
well, and that's maybe not, because maybe she just wins the thing.
Or Tony. Maybe Tony's a great golfer.
Maybe he is.
I mean, he's a great basketball player. There's no question about that. We've seen him on the court many times. You've been on the court with Tony Conja.
Yeah, that dude boxes out. Like he takes pickup basketball seriously.
Yeah.
He also takes drinking seriously.
Yeah, and I guarantee he takes golf seriously.
Wow.
And there's one thing that we don't is take golf seriously. So
no, it is fun to the max with us, man. Yeah. I don't really know how my ankle's gonna hold up this weekend, so it might just be a foursome, and I'll drive around in the cart.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna swing. Like, boom. But that'll be the first time I've touched a golf club in like 6 months.
I'll miss the final third of the course of you being super pissed at me because I didn't. I didn't show you the line
so much since then.
I've matured so much. It's been months. I love
Zazosaurus Rex.
TD, I need you to hit the ball right. 6.
I'm so stoked. Like Sean was the dude that called in, and congratulations, Sean. Part of me was wondering, what if Aaron Zazarek calls in?
Oh, dude!
And then we get to sing the song.
Yep.
Well,
we're gonna have to make
maybe
theme songs.
he could be part of Sean's foursome.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Aaron Zazara, if you're listening, give Sean a call. We're not allowed to give out his phone number, but here it goes. It's 619. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right.
You know what? If you guys want to link up, just both of you, use the talkback mic.
That's
and
right.
Then we'll just keep playing them until we figure it out.
So congrats to Eric. Congrats to Sean. Both of them are going to have foursomes playing alongside of us. Tea time at 9:00 on the One More Win Foundation annual golf tournament in San Marcos. That's coming up on Friday. Coming up all this week, San Diego County Fair tickets, Doobie Brother tickets. Fletch, who do we thank?
Well, Donnie and Murray, who won those 2 tickets. Donnie won the fair tickets. Murray won the Doobie Brothers tickets. Also, thank you to Jonas Knox, who was on the show earlier today. Thank you to Mark Neville, the CEO of Sports San Diego, who's on the show a little bit earlier today. You missed anything, it will be up in the Pod Center on the free iHeartRadio app. Just search in Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Yeah, keep
Whammy.
listening. We will be back at 3:00, 3 to 7 p.m. on 101.5 KGB Classic Rock. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch continues on a Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Here's the Herd coming up next.